Welcome home, gamer, and welcome back to Mechabellum, where we've got about 20 minutes till the weekend tournament Americas. I'm going to just get out on the ladder and play one game while we're building audience. Looks like Cast is still playing. Zimp, Tryon up. Who else is playing at the moment? Black Sheep Odyssey. So we'll get one match in, I think, and then we'll be in Shoutcast mode, since I've just had Thanksgiving dinner, my Saturday Thanksgiving. I don't think I'm going to be playing. I'm just going to be full and happy and watching and casting with you guys. Might get interrupted for pie later. Might not get a match. There's 2,000 people online. We should get a match sometime soon. But where are we? We are currently... Oh, we have Zablaski. All right, Zablaski at 1585. We're at 1771. Here we go. Channel point prediction is up for you folks that like that sort of thing. Wolf Factory has given a lot of gift subs this month. Long loading screen. Let's see what we get here. I'm full and happy. Ooh. You know what? I've been thinking I might want to try just a full commit Typhoon build. That's no chaff left with that. Probably a really bad idea if opponent is a missile specialist and starting with well, we're going to wind up with that. Kind of a general. Avatar looks pretty cute. It's true. That is true. Yes. Beat Alright, so opponent is deep. I like that. Don't mind seeing that at all. Especially if we're planning on transitioning out of these. Oh, you're a long game player. I see. We barely have enough chaff to survive this. Hey, we have one viewer and one better. All right. Channel points are open. Somebody's 100 in already. Smart marksman, I think, for us works for me. We're just going to... I'm just going to be rude, I think. This is basically what worked against me the first time I played her. I don't think I had a way out and around it particularly. Oh, the thing I might want to do, actually, while we're here. I think there's going to be some clever plays that people develop, though. Like, dropping in the corners. The tournament registration should be open. That's quite a logical answer, though. Yeah, except it's expensive, right? Now he's way ahead of me economically. Lesric says, first, I don't know why I'm the only one here. Well, there's bets on both sides. I mean, there's 2 viewers, and somehow you both managed to bet. So, submissions are closed. Hello, Bimpy. Bimpy got a bet in like the last possible second. I love it. All right then. I think we're gonna go with that. For a minute. Oh yeah. Okay. We're Typhoon Specialist. Go with that. 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 And doubles. And just about to munch before turning. I already munched. I have done my munching. We will see. Oh, hello. Oh. This match got interesting in a hurry. Playing, no, probably casting. I just had the big old meal, so there's no way I would play well enough to do well here. Alright, let's see what we got. Creative play at the moment. We transitioned from standard to aggro. Pretty heavy. We get levels there. It's round 4. No. I don't even do that, right? Do I just skip them both? Oof. I think I do, right? Alright. We skip them all. We go lone range speed. We sell you. We get that up. Get those. We get those. Unlock that. And let's get... Whoosh. I think we're going to need a deep here. Okay, EMP barrage. Sure. brings those down pretty darn quick, doesn't it? What did you take? Okay, you took super supply. Right. Okay. So he gave us a piece of information, which is that he's a long-term player. He took the long-term econ. Now he's in just a boatload of trouble. He's got those up. He's got this up, so we can't protect. I think we can protect, right? Would. Which one was the least useful here? Probably the fellow in the middle. I don't know if it works or not. Yikes. 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 Eh. So that one was a 5-round knockout. Like you win the long term, right? So he wins the long term game every single time, 100% from Vulcan Melter at this stage, right? Like he just absolutely does. But we've managed to drop him below 0 before he gets there. The missile specialist, I don't think she's as good as Typhoon specialist. I had the spec I wanted. We transitioned into the aggro. I sold out of the 2 sledges and one of these folks. We've got just enough hit points to survive with 3,200 hit points on level 2. So barely in, barely done. Congrats to Lesric for stealing Bimpy's hard-earned rocks. And we're gonna jump on over into the tournament waiting screen. That was a fun little game, quick and dirty. We'll I don't think we're actually coming back to play anymore afterwards, but we'll have the Bang MMR up for folks. So if anybody joins and wants to know what the heck, why does this guy get to talk about it? Here we go. You have Apuchi, Miasim, Odyssey, Zim, Bellicose, Drake came in 8th this morning, or this afternoon. Birdnot, Shreks, Harvey the Loma. We've got 120, which would be one large group. But with 6 minutes to go, we'll probably get enough to get 2 small groups. We have 3 small groups for Europe. So, yeah, we just need like 5 or 6 more players. We'll join to bump that up. Hello, Phoenix Flight. I am casting only tonight. How are you? Are you playing? Are you going to be in? CS party is in. Hearing this one, haven't played much, but yeah, good. Have fun, man. Since you haven't played much recently, we'll come cast your very first round match, right? Godius Prime is in. Yay. It's a good one. You had a interesting first round matchup, right? In Europe? You had a rough first round matchup, if I remember. I thought about casting it, because I know you're the kind that can please no caster curse. I actually thought about casting your first round in Europe because I know you're the kind of player that can pull off that upset. So missed Bradbury beating cast. That would have been the match to go to. About 4 minutes to go. Not a whole lot of folk in the room yet, so I'm going to run an ad before Tourney starts, I think, and that way we'll have them knocked out for there won't be pre-rolls or anything for anybody that joins during the matches, that sort of thing. So we run those now. We get like 60 minutes with no pre-roll, and you guys don't miss a moment of tournament action. What is there anything else we should be thinking about at the moment? I guess we can spend a brief moment going over the hey. No, you're correct. You're correct, but you are not thinking in time zones, Mike. It is currently December 1st. uh, quick review of the tournament, or of the patch that just came out. This will be the rules for this tournament. No more combat power lost. If you are, just in the top 200 worldwide, is the only time you'll lose combat power. Apparently, I do lose combat power, so good to know. I'm up in the top 200. Godius Prime, thank you for the cast, for the follow even. They are very fun to do. They're really fun to do. Um, New variant. Okay, so new specialist, Missile Strike. The guy I just played said he didn't like her. I shielded her. I shielded his round 2 missiles, and then went off and hammered him on round. Beat him by round 5. When the missile specialists came back up, Mike, wait, what? You have subscribed for a year, sir. A year. Very nice. Well done. Thank you. New variant, extended range Phantom Ray. I haven't seen that one yet. I know, it did. It really did. But Mike, for those of you that don't know, Mike is wearing a VIP because he's done so much to help the channel in terms of gift sponsorships, gift subs, and sponsoring, OG sponsor of the Trash Masters tournament. And you sponsored Trash Masters too, as well, right? So definitely contributing to the pro gaming scene here, and definitely really Mike contributed to the growth of this channel a lot with that. So deeply appreciate it. Balance adjustments. Crawlers lost about 5% hit points. The carry crawler techs weren't getting taken anymore, so those have been made cheaper. A loose formation is now bigger debuff. Overlord, the hope is that this is going to change the Overlord meta. We'll have less hit points, less more attack reduction from HE ammo. I still haven't had a problem with it. I still found it too useful to use. Welcome back to those of you that saw an ad. I apologize, but if we run that now, we've got about 60 minutes of no pre-roll, and you didn't miss a moment of tournament action. The big change for Mike and I will be the Sledgehammer EXP required to rank up. Goes a little bit slower. If you upgrade hit points, do they still survive a shot from the arc? From the arc? I am confused. Oh, these guys. Oh, I haven't run that breakpoint. We've got 20 odd seconds. 277. We can actually go figure that out real quick. Not hacker. Whoops. Where is Arclight? Right, I think it is time right around now. Ladies and gentlemen, start your mechs. Attack here is 347, so with 277, you're getting 15%. That'll be plus 45. No, they would not survive an arc shot anymore. So Arclight will one-tap them now. Let's step into Advanced Group 1. We'll take a look at who we're going to see in our first round. Oh, Cast against Bimpy? Yikes. Arctorius against AWM. That could be a fun one. Arctorius has been really solid. Del Taco and Cheeseburglar have been really good. Godius Prime draws Sparty. I'd actually cast that one, except Godius Prime requested no caster curse today. Let us instead. You know, I haven't gotten to see Pico Kishi, and they have been playing very well. Really well. So I want to see a Pico Kishi match. I know I have played 1K MMR player recently, so who is in? Sound is off. Sound is off. Oh, I see. Sound is off. Pico Kishi. 1K MMR player. Sound off, Aston. Say who you are. Who's in the tournament? Got it. I'll gladly continue to not run spread crawlers. I love not running it. Crawler drop card in back. Win that equal battle every time. Oh, yeah. Yep. I see that one. Right, you get the you have the 30% hit point bonus, so you just win it outright as soon as they've gone loose formation. Or you can pin them in the corner with your flank. Yeah, I can kind of see that one too. What am I trying to say here? I'm trying to type at the same time as I'm talking. It's not working. All right. Channel point predictions are up for 1K MMR player versus Pico Kishi. Welcome to round 1 of Weekend Tournament Americas number 82. Not believe we've been doing these for more than a year. MMR player is going to be near side blue. Pico Kishi is far side red. 1K MMR player taking the brand new missile specialist. The new specialist dropped just yesterday, which is getting 2 missile strikes for free on round 2. Every game that I have seen where player with it dropped both missiles on round 2 and opponent shielded correctly on round 2, missile specialist has gone on to lose on tempo, but we'll see how this one goes. Pico Kishi is going to line up front with a marksman specialist tarantula crawler line. Can feel a little awkward to waste an unlock on getting marksman, but getting some marksmen that join your marksman specialist in this push can really help. Pico Kishi also taking a pair of crawlers for 1K MMR player, missile specialist, and sets up in a defensive arc with the sledges left and right, arc lights to handle the crawlers, and crawlers behind towers. I like this little formation of crawlers for Pico Kishi. Really nice in terms of the delayed chaff arrival is going to be this drip chaff arrival is going to be so good for so long. 1K MMR player that's following along was 26th in the European region today, and has about a 1600 MMR. I've been running into them on ladder between 1600 and 1700, if I recall. Pikokishi was the elite third place finisher for the Elite Americas November. So proudly wearing that one. That'll put them up in the close to 2000 MMR range. And of course, we know that Tarantula tends to win round 1 against sledges, but with this formation, Pikokishi goes down. 1K MMR player had it covered, took care of the drip crawlers with the 2 arc lights, and now has a pair of missile strikes, and there are crawlers all over the board to potentially protect, and no idea where the level 3 marksman is going to be. 1K MMR player adds fire badgers, and is going to place one of those missiles. Is going to place them both to hit. Maybe not. Thinking about it. Pikokishi could take the Mustangs as long as he gets them correct. Doesn't have them in a danger zone. They'll be safe. Obviously, if you put something directly behind those two, it would be in danger. He's debating between Fire Badger, Phoenix, Mustang, and Wraith. We'll see what 1K MMR player is going to do. He's got the Fire Badgers up front to tank the Tarantulas for a while. Takes a third sledge. So, looking like an honorable sledge player at the moment. Takes a third arc light as well. And gets a level for this far side arc. Kokishi correctly reading that there's no AA on the board. It can feel really awkward to take a Phoenix next to your level 3 marksman. Kind of wanted to be in marksman, probably. But honestly, you know, you get more deploys for Phoenix than you do for marksman. You're not going to get a marksman drop while this guy's on the board, so you're not going to get extra help. And, you know, pivoting from the level 3 marksman to the level 2 Phoenix, valid. And there's also, they've got different roles in his build. You have a jump drive Phoenix with charged shot that can be aggressive all over the place. And the marksman can be shooting squad or aerial specialization. That does not go to the full elite marksman build. In fact, neither of Pikokishi's carry sniper units have elite marksman. Interesting. With this setup, is 1K MMR going for boats? Well, you could certainly see it, but I think I've also seen them play a full-on carry sledge game, at least against me. Got into a nice fun sledge v sledge. So, Pikokishi wins round 2, both players with minor damage, 3600 to 3680 after 2 rounds. Round 3, 1K MMR instantly into the additional deployment slot. That's going to help, as if they're going for a sledge line, for sure, but also potentially long-term with selling out of units to fund a boat line. As missile specialist, the guy I was just playing took some clever play with the electromagnetic impact. So, 35,000 damage plus the 2 missile strikes can actually bring down a shield somewhere. So you could conceivably wind up with I can bring down your shield late game. I could bring down your shield and have a storm or orbital bombardment over the same area. Pikokishi has gotten a level on a tarantula. A quick teleport, so we should be expecting to see some flanks. There they are. Flank Phoenix on both sides, correctly read by a 1K MMR player, putting down flank screening fangs on the round that those 2 flanks dropped. So, 1K MMR player building a nice, solid flank screening foundation, and is actually going to win these 2 rounds despite the quick teleport. Gets the job done there. Sorry, not necessarily going to win the round, though, because crawlers have gotten through to tower, and during the tower debuff, there is plenty of time for snipers to get the job done over here. There's a arc light, or a level 2 tarantula still alive to handle fangs, And during tower debuffs, the crawlers just nom 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 on the fangs. So, 1k MMR player down to 3052 after Pikokishi loses 2 flanks and still wins the round. So that does not bode well for 1k MMR player. Pikokishi takes super heavy armor. 1k MMR player skips a ion beam. I do love ion beam. But here we've got the Phoenix are jump driven back off that flank. Pikokishi, we talked about how they had jump drive available. Just pulls it right back. 50 cost, I guess the 100 cost on a Phoenix. 100 cost, but gets them back off the flank. The flank hadn't worked. Flank was a 1-round thing anyways. What we are going to see, it looks like, flank arc lights from Pikokishi instead. So we'll go cover, pull the crawlers, pull the fangs, and then kill them with an arc light. So that can be a frustrating and annoying thing. He's also gone to the high explosive ammo on tarantulas, while 1k MMR player is going to just torch that gorgeous chaff board by lighting the ground fire. Here we go. If you're willing to run through the tarantula, I will light you on fire. However, if you don't run through the tarantula, you're pretty much safe. So, maybe avoid the large burning things. Well, again, Pikokishi gets the far left side, wins both flanks with those arc lights, so we're going to have to answer those flanks in some way for 1k MMR player, while also handling the front. That looks like a really tough ask. It's down to 1648. Pikokishi, we don't get a unit drop. That would have helped 1k MMR player a bunch, I think. Skips could conceivably have had a redeploy an intensive training, an enhancement module, or an electromagnetic blast. Yes, Frostwall, I think so. Pikokishi went for the flank arcs because they're cheaper than the spiders. But, yeah, it's not looking great for 1k MMR player. Pikokishi gets the enhancement module, is going to enhance one of the tarantulas, and now it'll be doing 20% extra damage, 20% extra hit points. Has to jump drive the birds to ensure that they don't get missile struck, and is going to put them on the flank that has basically no, let's say, no fire badger protections, and hoping to just kind of come straight into that. So has a crawler, tarantula, triple phoenix coming at that side. The marksmen are now the 2 marksmen and 2 rhinos for 1k MMR player. So this was mass recruit to pick up 2 marksmen and then additional deployment, plus the mass recruit gives him the 2 rhinos. Rhinos will go handle the arc lights. There are multiple problems coming up that flank, though, from Pikokishi. He is missing out the latest arriving chaff, the ones that were kind of dodging the fire badgers. But, yeah, the mobile beaconed phoenix gets straight into tower with the high explosive tarantulas cleaning up pretty much everywhere else. And yeah, it looks really, really grim. Ted says, intensive looks good, and I'm fairly sure spider mines end this game. I think you are not wrong. The spider mines might not even be necessary to end this game. 1k MMR player down to 420 hit points. And drop available. If 1k MMR player had been planning boats, I think it's far too late for it. Pikokishi goes for the worm because, again, there's no good single target answer on the board. The marksmen are kind of tied up with the Phoenix. There has never been a strong answer to the tarantulas. This one's now a level 3 super heavy armor with 124,000 hit points. We didn't put the super heavy armor for plus 150 hit points. We didn't put it on the sandworm. Yeah, there is the GGs. We're not surprised. We are not surprised. Pikokishi, very, very strong. Mostly I wanted to see what they're running. It looks like he has sold out of the one tarantula. Enhancement modules, this one. We've got double wasps and wasp production from the two overlords. But are the Phoenix and Marksman going to be enough? There are 7 of them. They will slowly push through that. Yeah, the worm drops are nuts. They did get detuned a bit in this patch. They're still very strong. Taking those worms and then having 3 of them with armor, and there was just no single target on the board at all. For 1K MMR player, never really adequately answered the tarantulas, and the flank defense, right? The flanks are pulling 400 cost worth of units for a 100 cost investment on each side. So that is really rough. The level 2 boat is already down. The level 1 boat is doing its best. But now it has been locked onto because the worms are underground. And it looks like that is all she wrote. If the boat lives. Oh, there was just nothing screening for it. 3 worms underground. Pikokishi through to round 2. 1K MMR player taking the loss. Like I said, between 16 and 1700. Sorry if I kind of underestimated. We've gotten almost up over 17. Pikokishi at 2160. And there's just a huge difference, right? I wouldn't have stood much more of a chance against Pikokishi. But I wanted to see what he was running, what kind of things he's thinking of, so that we have a little bit more information about that player for future casts. What else do we have? Miasim versus Vibe still ongoing. Let's jump into the Bellicose Drake match, since we like Drake. Bellicose Drake, of course, was 8th place in Europe earlier today, so presumably the favorite in this match. Although in round 7 they look pretty evenly matched. There has to have been a spell of some sort for us to be mobile beaconing wildly like this for both sides. They're trying to get out from wherever the spells were. We have had double absorption module drops. That is fun. And double level 2 absorption overlords. Double level 2 absorption melting points. Well, it's level 2 and level 1, I guess. The question is really, does Drake's chaff distract those melters for long enough? The boats do get into... they're coming right through the flank here, but they are getting a lot of work done. Attack up the middle with the Typhoon boat. Gets tower, and there's not much left. It's a desperate defense of the far right tower, but with storms, boats, and is that level 3 fangs coming as well? Level 3 but untacked fangs on their way. Some of the Typhoons still have shields up. Tower is down, and our 201 player is in a spot of bother, I think. This doesn't look like it's going to last much longer. Become light and protect. Zinzin is the name there. Become light. Protect Zin. I presume this is a anime character battle slogan. But, you never know. Ooh, those are some special level 3 overlords, aren't they? And we're going to push straight up the middle with the jump drive overlords. Double mobile beacon just goes straight to the level 1 melter that can't heal itself. And, oh yeah, we should be turning that off. Brab says, my worms got nuked and I lost my first match. Wait, your worms were on the surface when the nuke landed? That is pretty brutal. Yep, Bellicose Drake is running the Woot Tax, Overlord Artillery, and Jump Drive with Wasp, Mothership, and Photon Emission. Oh, the Orbital Javelin just completely whiffs where the boats were. Of course, that is exactly how Woot uses them. The Jump Drive to move when needed. And Become Light has actually debuffed the Melters by giving them Energy Diffraction. Energy Diffraction Melter is just never going to get through these level 3 Overlords quickly enough. If you had Anti-Missile, perhaps. But no, you do not. I don't think the Melters are ever even going to connect with boats. And if they do, it's nothing to me. Yeah, people... it did connect with the one. Look at that. I'm sorry, I had it wrong, Light. Had it wrong. But, yeah, the two healing boats, pretty much uninjured by the end of the round. The Melters do melt everything other than the two healing boats. I mean, almost everything. One last valiant Arclight stand, but not good enough. Bellicose Drake will be through to round 2. Well over 2,000 MMR. I have been jokingly calling him the OG Trash Masters champion because, you know, he has that win, but there is no trash in this play anymore. This is a very, very strong player. One of the prizes that was offered for that tournament was coaching sessions with some of the top players. Bellicose Drake took those coaching sessions and has turned them into turned himself into a very, very solid player. Looks like we've still got a couple of matches ongoing. Erdnot Shreks and Sugar Shane and Harry, Hikikomori and Renate. But Apuchi wins over Blunted Baboon. Belief, Odyssey, Zemp, and Cast, the favorites all winning. Moonless, Arctorius. So favorites all the way down through 13th, winning on that side. Cheeseburglar beat Del Taco's Crispy Chicken lineup. Fedez over the Magician, and Hanayama-sama over Derek. So 3 upsets there. Sparty beat Godius Prime. This is the game we almost cast. Little Yoshi with the upset win over Harvey the Llama. We've got wins from, let's see if we can translate these two names. The Cave of the Garan, and I don't know who. This is just emojis, I think. With a smile, beating Somebody Help Me. Bellicose Drake, Alpha, with the wins. Erwin loses out to Fans Words. Pikokishi, Shadoff, and Miyasim, the favorites, all winning down the line. The BDU has a win, as does The Wind Blows Away the Clouds. Ganj Wizard had a non-ready up from Luke Coward. Luke Conrad. Sorry, my bad. Air. This translates as air. Xavier with a win. What is that name? God's Domain. I think that's from the domain expansion stuff. Na beats Billy the Kid. Who to Hell? Last Zep. Vex. Ostap Bender. Omni Ripper. This is a set of names we have not seen in a while in the top division. Moondream Cicada Sounds. That's fun. That's a fun name. Moondream Cicada Sounds. I think that was this one, actually. Thrain, I've seen, and he didn't ready up. Hobnoblin beats Mega Space Player. What else have we had? All Things Return to One. To Oneness. Bolin, 180, Sephois, and Skycat, your winners. Hobnob, let's go. Hobnoblin. Yes, he jumped both level 3 boats. He had jump drive, so he just moved the important things. Yes, Twilight Assassin, welcome in. So we'll talk about that real quick. We had about 180 participants. So they were split into 2 groups by MMR. So lowest player in Advanced Group 1 has a higher MMR than the highest player in Rookie Group 1. And then the initial rounds are set up by MMR, so your seed number is your MMR. Seshomaru and Skycat are the lowest MMR players in Advanced Group 1. Abuchi had the highest MMR after coming in third in the European earlier today. Top of the group, top half is top versus bottom. So 1 versus 46, 3 versus 44, 2 versus 45, 3 versus 44. Kind of the way that you would expect normal seeded tournaments to go. The bottom half is set up so that players at that level have a better chance of making it to round 2. So it's 47 v 48, 49 v 50, 51 v 52. Phoenix Flight and Trans-Atastic are still at it. Phoenix Flight. Let's see if Phoenix Flight has an epic comeback in the works, or if this is just petering out, shall we say? You're predicting a Odyssey Hobnob final. All right. That is not the final I would predict, but carry on. It's your bro. I believe in my bro. Got it. Phoenix Flight near side is running a range enhancement anti-air Mustangs along with armor enhanced Degen Beam Wraiths. The far side Trans-Tastic is running ranged heavy armor Wraith over there, and we've got range laser sight nano repair and a portable shield on these. So it looks like there might have been something more impressive on the ground. It's 4-teched Carry Fang. Phoenix Flight got himself into Carry Fang and triple-teched. How did you guys get to this state? Is this triple-teched crawlers? Phoenix Flight was just talking about this, where he loves to have the triple-tech bar rather than the loose deploy bar. So they're just going to go head-to-head out here. Goodness. This is a amazing match. Blue sold out of sledges. Or I'm just wondering how the heck did you guys... He was watching the last round. It's a wild board state up in here. Exactly. This is amazing. How did you guys do this to yourselves? And I mean, that is one of the things I love about the game, is that you're going to wind up trying to solve board states that you have not seen before. And that is just fun to me. Are those Phoenix are not dropping EMP on the raids. It looks like that is not going to matter, as Trans-Atastic, wait a minute, Trans-Atastic dies off in the oil and acid. It's not over. Phoenix Flight has to do 3,000 damage in the next 2 rounds, so it needs to go from not just staying alive, it needs to transition to something with a lot of methyl. So 3 Vulcans on the board with range. Please take 2 more. Take 2 more, because you need the giant hit points and damage on the board. And blue is cooked, absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, I think the Vulcan with Incendiary should really end things for Trans-Atastic, but I'm going to point out one thing. You look at this board state, right? Phoenix Flight has all chaff with, is it legitimately, I think it is just a couple of arc lights and a couple of wraiths. So even if he wins rounds, he's not doing enough damage. And that is why the canonical board states of Mustang Fort or Fang Fort, they're actually relying on the forts surviving to do a ton of damage. This, unfortunately, is not going to keep the oil from getting lit on fire. As soon as any part of that oil gets lit, this is a relatively recent change. I think this is 1.0. This is a 101 change, maybe? No, maybe it was a 110 change. At any rate, They've recently changed it so that the fire lights the entirety of an oil, regardless of whether it's under a shield or not. True, Ted. The Wraiths, if they lived, would be doing the hit point damage. Because they're so short range, they're getting out in front and they get melted, get eaten up in a way that isn't doing that damage, or hasn't been doing that damage. They have a lot less hit points than a equivalent investment into forts would have. And there we go. Trace is through. But, it wasn't running EMP on the Phoenix, so it couldn't turn off the triple text from these things. That might make this take a little longer than it might otherwise have. Transfantastic does grind it out. Now, of course, notice he did exactly the amount of hit points that Transfantastic personally had. That's pretty funny. But also, the it was showing just how much this could have swung, right? If Phoenix Flight had been the player to win this last round with, for example, with the Vulcan drop and throwing out his own, perhaps throwing out his own incendiary bombs onto the other side. He does have them on the bar. He says, it was a weird game to push it to 12 rounds. It's fine by me, given that I'm lacking brain cells recently. I was at around 168 hit points, around 7 or 8 or so I'm just glad I made him work for it. Yep, wonderful. Symmetry game is rigged. Hey, no. But we are through to next round. Stay tuned. We'll figure out what our round 2 matchup is. We've got 45 unbeatens and a spoiler. Who will our spoiler be? 46 Erdnot Shreks will be the spoiler, facing Apuchi. And down in the middle of the field, what else are we going to have? Skycat, that winning that 89 versus 90 match. Their reward is a game against the dev himself, Miyasim. Pico Kishi's still progressing. Let's see if there's anything that we recognize. A couple of these names. I think I want to take Heikiko Mori, who was the Advanced Group 20th place finisher in Europe, and they are facing the 4th place intermediate group finisher from Asia today, who is The Wind Blows Away the Clouds. We'll take that one. Clouds versus Hikikomori. We've seen Hikikomori doing well as well. So, of course, Hikikomori means somebody who never goes outside. Like a shut-in, if you will. Be our name for it. Boo Radley, perhaps, if you think about it. Yeah, shut-in, Frestwell. Exactly. Yeah, Ted says 4 Wraiths is 60,000 hit points, 3 Forts is 131,000 hit points. And that's not including the unlock cost. And of course, doesn't include the other things like the Wraith healing or the Fort shield barrier. Welcome to round 2 of our Weekend Tournament America's number 82. Near side blue playing the new missile specialist. So second time we get to see this in action is The Wind Blows Away the Clouds, who was the 4th place finisher in Asia Intermediate 1 earlier today. Hikikomori, 20th place finisher in Europe Advanced 1 earlier today, is going to be Farside Red. with a supply specialist, steel ball, and arclight. And on the near side, we've got missile specialist with storms and arcs set up deep. Channel point predictions, of course, are up for those of you that enjoy that sort of thing. Pair of fangs for wind, a pair of crawlers for Hikikomori, who is starting really, really deep. These are steel balls almost on the back row. We're going to keep them alive by keeping them out of the fight when they are the largest hit point thing on my board. I mean, there's an argument there. There's an argument there, but I'm not sure I like it. Now, for me, this is particularly painful in a this is so pullable, right? You can really kind of tie this up in the corner and open up this, like, there's just so much exploitable real estate space. I don't think the wind blows away the clouds is going to transition to that kind of aggro that takes advantage of it. But if you were playing somebody of the level of like a Cast or that quality of player in a Fuji, you would absolutely get taken advantage of for this positioning. Steel balls outside of towers and deep. The crosswall, you asked if I think the 2 missiles on round 2 is too strong, and is there good counterplay? So, honestly, the 2 times I have seen the matchup played where the player with missile specialist drops both missiles on round 2, and the opponent drops 2 shields and correctly predicts a high value drop, the player who dropped the shields has gone on to win. Despite the fact that you'd think that was like, hey, I forced you into minus 200, so that's basically like plus 200 of a quick supply specialist. It's not really, because you wind up with getting all the additional benefits of the shield, right? We've got a unit drop, so we have a Fire Badger for Hikikomori and Phoenix. I think solid choice here. It looks like the wind blows away the clouds is going into a pretty standard Vulcan Phoenix comp. From here, this looks a lot like the Galaxy Ends and Fires build. The fangs would have been out here, the crawlers would have been up there, but it's very, very similar. So the times that I've seen that correctly done, played out with shields, I should say, not necessarily correct or incorrect, right? That has really heavily favored the missile device, or the missile specialist. Here, they're not even getting kills with it, but they are really injuring some units that they thought were pretty key, I guess. So over here, we're gonna kill almost kill one of the arc lights. We've got the Phoenix lined up with it to finish it off. I mean, maybe these Phoenix were gonna kill it anyways. But we placed it places it couldn't get dropped. We've gotten some value out of it. Over here, the arc lights are able to do a lot of work on the steel balls. There's only 1 steel ball surviving. Everything we have dropped the hammer on has gone down, and our Phoenix are getting some value. Of course, there are still crawlers on the ground, and there's still 1 marksman. This guy is a new drop this round that was basically played by Hikikomori explicitly to cover Phoenix drop. There's only 1 marksman, it had no techs, so clearly just thinking around the drops, I think. I mean, maybe Hikikomori's planning to go more into marksman, especially now that one of them has a level and a target on the board that you'd want it on the board for. Mass-produced sledge offered. Efficient tech research is a really good pickup for the wind blows away the clouds. Hikikomori took the sticky oil bomb as supply specialist. Figured I've got the econ advantage. I don't need to double down on econ advantage with efficient tech. Ted says, this is the first time I've actually seen the Copium marksman work. It's true. It's not a frequent win. But there it is. Have the 1 piece of upshoot, and it got the job. Hikikomori is going to commit to those now with 2 more marksmen. And still, since we're winning rounds with these, even though they're not doing much damage, right? They're getting locked up on chaff. We're just going to keep them on the board for now. Use them to tank. They are going to feed levels to the Phoenix over here. The level 2 steel balls feeding a lot of levels, X points to experience points to the Phoenix. Wind blows away the clouds. How did you decide that that was the spot to put your oil? I'm not sure I see, but it worked. And actually, maybe it's a lot more sensible than I think it is, because he knows the fire badger is on that side, and the fire badger is still going to get a lot of value out of lighting all the chaff on fire there. Gets these steel balls straight in on tower, on the shield barrier. So despite it looking like a relatively brilliant play, he's going to lose that side while winning the other. Crawlers almost got the tower before dying to the Stormcallers. It's going to go the way of Wind blowing away the clouds. So Wind gets a round win for the first time, drops Hikikomori down to 3,800. Wind blows away the clouds at 4,250. Underground threat up for Wind. I think I like advanced power system for Hikikomori. This is actually turning into a race to towers. Oh, he takes the underground threat as well. I was thinking it feels like a race to towers at times, and the speed would also help. Actually, could have helped Wind blows away the clouds get to this if you were going to do that pull we were talking about also. But you're not seeing that currently. Hikikomori playing his underground threat right with his level 2 steel balls. That's the one thing he's worried about having pulled or debuffed. And Wind is going to put it, looks like, on the opposite side. Same general spot. Again, one unit over here to pull a bunch of stuff and get these guys in towards tower. You have these 6 Arclights with several of them at level 2 already. For Wind, he's got the full carry techs, including EMP, but no anti-air. But since he's in the Phoenix and opponent is on the ground with the Marksman, that lack of anti-air is less worrisome. What you would need is an answer to Wasps at that point. Again, we get the same thing. This is what I was talking about in terms of where speed might help for one or the other. They both passed it up, right? And a lot of standard players don't think about speed as being as useful. But when you are winning one side and losing the other, who gets to tower first or second can be really huge, or getting to the second tower first can be really huge. So, Hikikomori takes a pair of level 2 sledges. It's actually pretty good value, right? You can sell that for 550. You can sell this for 450. That one was also 450. So the level 2 sledges were the best sale value, if that was where you were going. But Hikikomori currently has them on the board. It's gone full on the Marksman, so range for Arclights and Marks. There's the drop, the Missile Strike. This is going to be pretty good value. Wind blows away the clouds. Paying attention to where this Marksman is going to walk based on the pull to ensure that that's part of the drop. You'll kill a level 1 Marksman, just wounding the other things, knocking off some chaff. There is no great single targets. and Hikikomori at least covering one of the sides, basically covering this level 1 marksman. And man, that missile missed this guy. It wasn't perfectly placed. People are going to need to get some practice with where they're dropping their missile strikes, that's for sure. Ms. Diana points out, speed is weirdly useful with slow standard positioned units because it's a greater percentage effect. I completely agree with that. Whether you're using sledges, arcs, marks, fangs, speed as a percentage increase is huge in the standard v standard. And neither of these players is, I think, quite at the level that they're seeing that or thinking that through necessarily, or they just really like the other options. Which, to be fair, mission tech research is a very good option. Did Hikikomori take there? Remember. They've got super heavy armor, intensive, mobilized battleship, and orbital javelin. All 4 of those can be very useful. Wind blows away the clouds, taking the intensive training. Hikikomori takes the super heavy armor. Might have think this would have gone the other way around, because basically dropping a super heavy armor on the saber would have left you with a "you must get a melting point" answer. But apparently we don't want to. We don't want that. We want the intensive for the arc lights. So we're going to just continue leveling into the carry arc and kind of let you do your melter play for the saber if you need to kill it anyways, because it lived without the super heavy armor. Super heavy armor will be on the fire badgers for now for Hikikomori, and may go onto a giant later. So one of the things Hikikomori's not done necessarily, there's maybe 2 things I would point out actually. One, we're leaving a set of level 2 units on the board, and yeah, they have extra hit points that mean the arc lights will get through them less quickly, but that's also feeding a bunch of XP into something that's potentially a carry arc light build, and that's no good. You don't want to do that. You want to be ensuring that the arcs are wasting their time on level 1 and shields, not getting the value for the level 2s. This is a good line, especially once he adds the portable shield, but of course we've also got the storm callers for it, and those storms have fire, so if you just lit this on fire, everything's going to be walking into it. So Hikikomori has some positional lessons to learn yet, I think, in terms of thinking around fire. Using fire very well on offense on the left side, and has actually taken care of the big thing over there. So his level 3 marksman's going to go up to level 4. These guys are surviving in a shield bubble. The shield bubble goes down right at the end. So Hikikomori wins the round, but kind of a negative econ on that one to lose the shield bubble there. But that shield bubble was up for 2 rounds, so perhaps that's all right. Hikikomori takes additional deployment slots. So does Wind. So they've both got 4 deploys now. You can look to that for more chaff or building out your marksman line, building out your arc light line. One of the things that Wind has done neatly here is not building too many arcs too quickly. So we've got arc lights that will be, rather than splitting that XP around too many units, is what I'm trying to say. So, level 4, level 2, 4 level 3s. Also takes range for the Phoenix to ensure that those are staying behind the arc lights now, and has field maintenance on the Saber. Until you fully commit to stopping that one, I'm going to commit to keeping it alive. Over here, it's what we had all the ranges last time. We have we ranged Fire Badger this round and added one over here to try and get to the oil. But again, we've got this, it's not a checkerboard, it's a line sort of pattern that's going to potentially bait Incendiary Bomb. And Incendiary, of course, if you're killing off the chaff with Incendiary, The arc lights are pretty happy about that, and they get to work with bigger units for better XP, while the incendiary is spreading the XP to all units on the board. XP from flames gets any environmental effect gets spread to all living units. That's another way to funnel XP into your carry units. Whatever your carry units are. Is there an effective way to deal with these sabers other than melters? Well, we could have EMP on the marksmen so that they stopped and weren't healing anymore. Similarly, EMP on Phoenix would help. And, yeah, very high-level Elite Mark Wasps would do it. Potentially well, delivering any form of EMP, I guess I should say. You've got another additional deployment slot. Hikikomori will take it. We are not going to be a giant specialist, folks. We are going to be a build everything we want. There is the Elite Marksman for A Wind Blows Away the Clouds, who also has a Underground Threat and a Wasp Swarm coming. And it's going to be hitting the Mustangs early to prevent those from leveling. These are now anti-missile Mustangs. I don't think they were anti-missile last round, but they'll be in the role of playing defense against the storms, or would have been if they were to survive. They can't anti-missile this missile. Here's the EMP. We were just talking about you, weren't we? So Hikikomori is going to add EMP storms. That'll be one way to turn off the saber healing. At least slow the rate of healing. Also has added a anti-missile Mustang over here. Doesn't put the shield on the back corner. Now, I think one thing when you are playing the missile specialist, these backline Mustangs may wind up warranting their own shield back there, and you just pay attention to how far they got, because that shield's never going down, right? You just placed that back there. The shield is never going down. Then the opponent never gets to missile them out. See the anti-missile interfering, like they have to stop, retarget. They eventually do handle the Wasp call-in, and eventually die to the Stormcaller volleys and arc lights. They're probably never going to earn a level the way that they're being played. They're purely anti-missile. The EMP on the left was enough to KO the Saber, but not before Wind Blows Away the Clouds had won on the right side and won the match. Hikikomori at 1815 MMR, losing out to the Wind Blows Away the Clouds. That'll put Wind over 1700 MMR with the results of this match and the accelerated MMR gains and losses from tournament play. So well done, congrats to you. Intermediate Group 1 top finish earlier in the day, and having a, that might even have been that was your Saturday, this is probably your Sunday. So, there we go. Almost the entire rest of the board is complete. And, oh no, Birdnut Shreks with the upset win over Apuchi. I know Apuchi was feeling pretty tired today. Took one loss in Europe, takes a round 2 loss to the spoiler here. Unfortunate, sir. Very unfortunate. Belief with the win over Sefoy, Odyssey over Bolin, Zemp, Cast, Moonless, Arctorius, the favorites all getting the wins down the line, with Sparty as well, the winner. The Ave of the Garan is the winner against Na, Fedez, Little Yoshi, all the favorites winning. Sugar Shane and Harry makes it a complete clean sweep for the odd numbers in the top half of the group. On the bottom half, you do have your upsets. where we saw The Wind Blows Away the Clouds beat Hikikomori, Ganj Wizard beats Cheeseburglar, and Who to Hell has beaten, whatever you're going to call this person. Smiley. Other matches, Hanayama-sama, Genghis Wolves, Bellicose Drake, Alpha, all the winners. Pico Kishi is through to round 2 with a win for them, as Fans Words beats. This was Moon Dream Moon Dream Cicada sounds. So congrats to Fans Words, Shout Off, and Miyasim, the rest of the winners there. So we'll have, well, with the upset loss, we're going to have 22 unbeaten. That'll give us 11 matches. So things will add up to 23. You'll get Zemp versus Fans Words here, Alpha versus Odyssey, Moonless versus Shadow. Those will probably be the most interesting of the matches, with folks at the bottom getting matched up against the folks at the top. Phoenix Flight says, my bounce back game was made much easier when an air specialist built no air units. That would do it. I am going to fill up the coffee and be right back. Well, folks, I have failed at the task of filling up the coffee on the grounds that the pot was now empty. Ted says, I do that fairly often. It works sometimes. So this one of those 20% of the time it works all the time? This sort of things. Let us take Alpha against Odyssey. I think that one could be a lot of fun. Alternately, we could do Zemp against Fans Words. Let's take, we'll take Alpha against Odyssey, I think. No, we'll take Zemp against Fans Words. There we go. Zemp versus Fans Words. Channel Point Predictions is up for that one. Ted says, I'm using it to block all the airdrops. Yeah, that's a fair way to go. Air Specialist can be very useful if you're trying to force Stang. Guess I can see that, but dropping all the various things that can shut down the Mustangs. Right, Zemp. The last time we have checked in on Zemp was enjoying running a Marksman from Deep. Runs a very economic game, and was really able to channel that into, into victory more often than not. Also does have some good creative solutions to a lot of the more unique problems that certain players can pose. So welcome to round 3 of this weekend Tournament Americas, number 82, where our 501 hero Apucci has been defeated in round 2. Zemp, your 401 multi-time champion, has also taken the Missile Specialist, so we're getting to see this new specialist played 3 times in a row by different players of different levels. And Supply Specialist on the far side, seeming to be the most common answer. So Fans Words is playing Supply Specialist with Storms and Arcs. Now that is providing some very juicy targets for a Missile Specialist. And it is 5 Crawlers and 2 Sledges for Zen. Arclights should provide some better chaff clear. But of course there's a lot more chaff to clear on Zemp's board. Also, they are doing a good job of making storms miss. Right up till now. Now everything's focused on the sledges. Yeah, the sledges aren't going to survive this for very long. Fans Words wins round 1. Zemp down to 3,400 already. He had a very low hit point starting pack due to the sledges and crawlers being very popular and well played. We get a level 2 unit drops. Wasps, rhinos, I saw fangs, and I think it was tarantula. The answers are going to be a rhino for Zemp, since opponent's board had no actual answers to that, and a level 2 wasps for Fans Words, since Zemp's board had no answers to that. Zemp is taking 3 Arclights, so there's the chaff clear, and goes ahead thinking about putting down missile strikes. Fans Words greedy went for the mass deploy to get 1 fang as his answer to the possible air, rather than shielding up over the storms. Pays the price on the left side where 1 storm dies, and Zemp held the other missile strike rather than hitting this one on the side he's playing the rhino. He just left that up where the rhino is just going to tank everything. Unfortunately, Zemp has no anti-air, so that's going to be a problem. The wasps do have jump drive. You can't necessarily just target them outright. You probably will and probably should, but Fans Words can just jump drive them away for 50. Keep them nice and safe. With the tower debuff, they get a lot of damage done on that, and I think that'll level them up. It does. Those could be level 3 wasps next round. Zemp down to 3,200. Tempo for Fans Words right now. Additional deployment slot for Zemp with the mobile beacon taken for Fans Words. No, not the mobile beacon. I'm sorry, the improved firepower control system. He took the mobile beacon from tower and is mobile beaconing the wasps away from where he anticipates the drop will be. Zemp, anticipating the jump drive play, is going to go ahead and put the drop on the Stormcaller instead. And also goes for 4 fangs. Just a 4 fang back line. I will handle those wasps. I don't know where they're going to get jump driven to, but wherever they are, I will have some anti-air. I was going to want some late chaff anyways, I'm telling you. That was a pretty efficient way to cover all angles, to make sure that the jump drive wasps didn't show up somewhere unexpected. Fans Words added a phoenix over the rhino. The mobile beacon also gets these damage wasps over the rhino as well, so it doesn't lose out to the level 2 rhino this time. And instead is going to lose out to these fangs. Oh, no, not necessarily. The storm's getting the fangs down. Now we get wasps. But the storms will win it for Fans Words again. Zemp down under 3,000, down to 2,700 hit points. Go to round 4. Both players in tremendous chaff boards so far. Zemp with a skip. You also have Efficient Giant available. If you were going to pivot to Giants Zemp, you can afford to. There's a skip as well from Fans Words. Neither player wanting that one. Fans Words takes the Storm upgrade, so level 2 Storm on top of the sledges, and also on top of the Rhino if it's available, and ranges the Arclights. Here is, I said Zemp loves his marksman line. This is how he plays it. It is super deep, super ranged. They're basically going to engage with whatever you put on the line that comes forward first. By the end of the game, they're going to have range out to here-ish. They're just going to be shooting over into enemy territory from as deep as possible, and they will be the very last thing you get to engage with. They'll outrange my storms by the end of the match. Might even outrange your storms if you haven't taken range enhancement. So we've got ranged arcs on one side, ranged marks on the other. Looks like we're going to be in a classic battle. Arcs versus marks. Are we going to see this one go 13 rounds? This is one of the things that Zemp does, is his builds may not do the most hit points damage on the end of the thing. He tends to win rounds. So Dan's Words is putting on the tempo pressure, but see how close the Zemp has come to answering already. We're down to all the chaff at the very end, came down to just a couple of things left. But Zemp at 1879, running out of time to stabilize it, has a pair of levels he could take on the forts. We've got a unit drop with Steel Balls, Overlords, Scorpions, and Melters. Zemp takes a pair of Steel Balls, level 2, so about 9,000 hit points or so per ball, so 36,000 hit points total. A little bit over that 9,100 piece. And looks like he's just going to run them up the middle and let them tank for a while. He will, of course, tank the storms. That might be part of the point. 2 more Arclights out wide, so Fans Words into a 6 Arclight build. For Zemp, you're adding... I thought I saw 2 Arclights. Yeah, Arclights right in front of tower, just making sure that there is no instant tower cheese, because Fans Words does have the storms unlocked, and you don't want to be vulnerable to a storm color on the line just instantly getting tower, although I think that would be unwise in a build where you're this far back. You wouldn't really get to take advantage of it. The Missile Strike, not used on the Phoenix, and just getting some data on the Wasps. Surprised it wasn't used on the Phoenix, honestly. So it just strikes the shields this time. Fans Word finally shields up. He hadn't shielded the storms earlier. And Zemp's build, I think this round includes these 2 storms. Those are the new outside units, along with the Arclights for chaff clear, because he had identified the problem as being chaff clear. Yet again, Fans Word's your round winner. Drops Zemp down to 1,079. It's not looking good. The supply specialist value getting way ahead for Fans Words. And we have Smoke down on the left side. Ted says, I just had a really weird game. We both started spiders, and we ended up in the Hacker Wraith Mirror. Oh, yep, tarantulas leads to hackers, leads to air units. I can see how you get there. Zemp adds 2 more storms and is now going to try to win the storm range war. 1B storm Just trying to make sure he keeps those storms alive, and back has shields up as well to ensure that the marksmen don't have their ranges cut off by the smoke. He took the smoke, has his missile strike available. Now, Dan's Words has been playing the exact same play over here, mobile beaconing inward, and Zimp is just going to go ahead and drop right where it was, rather than... yeah, there we go. So he has read, so he placeholdered it so that he does all the rest of his unit moves, right? He just gets it down to the place that he wanted it effectively. I'm not going to worry about making it perfect. I'm going to do all my other stuff. I'm going to come back and make it perfect. But look at this. He's read, because Fanswords has done this same mobile beacon multiple times, he's just going to drop right on top of those wasps where I know you are mobile. Your mobile beacon is only effective if it is not predictable. Well, down it goes. I think 2 wasps survived. One was not part of the mobile beacon, and one of them was out in front. So, without the wasps, is this round going to go a little bit better? Hey, Twilight Assassin wants to know, what are minor points and why are other players getting more than me? Well, you know how points are equivalent to your number of wins, right? You win a match, you get 1 point. Your minor points are the sum total points of your opponent, every opponent that you have faced, whether you won or lost. So, folks that other people have played have gone on to win matches, or had won more matches before they played them. Your opponents may have abandoned or done other things. Zemp gets another missile strike, so he's now got a missile strike every round. Boom, 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 boom. There will be a missile strike somewhere. Opponent has also taken a missile strike, but I love this. This is just going to be so annoying. And note also, Zemp has finally won a round, and this time with all of his storms surviving. Storms did 800 damage, and the marksman back row, that's leveling and starting to get scary looking. So Zemp has stabilized at round 6 and looks like a much stronger board. Exactly. Twilight Assassin, did that explanation make sense? For fans' words, we do have the elite marksmen on the arc lights. They are up to 168 meter range here with temp range from tower and temp speed, so fans' words does value the speed as well. He's double teching the storms, so they are ranged and splash. So 2 techs and 2 extra levels on them. For Zemp, he has steadily been selling out of those things he had earlier. The hit point buffers from the Rhino, Steel Ball, those are all gone. It's now just about the arc lights clearing the chaff, storms and marksmen outranging in theory, outranging the storms and arc lights. For fans' words, he's added a pair of anti-missile devices, so even if he loses, those are now behind his line of storm columns. So in theory, he doesn't lose them whether or not he wins or loses. In practice, he needs to lose this side first, where he had the smoke and 1 less shield. So, looks like he's going to achieve that. And wins the right side tower. Now Zemp is through to the left side tower. And Fans Words wins round 7, drops Zemp to 979. But importantly, really importantly, Fans Words played that to perfection in terms of I'm going to lose the left where I have the smoke, the 1 shield. I'm going to win the right where I have the 2. It's a range war. Both players take the advanced targeting system for 400 and a 10 range upgrade, but you can't afford to skip it. Fans Words takes the mobile beacon right where it was again, just trying to keep the wasps alive as long as possible. Note that if he really wants it to be as long as possible, he'll skip speed. He does not skip speed. He takes the speed. Zemp has 3 deployments available. Has done one of them, has 2 left, and is down to 50 cash. Goes ahead and loans to try and get the extras, I think. There were a bunch of levels on Marksman. Has sold out. No, it was a sell out of the sledge, not a loan. My bad. There's the loan. So, more deep crawler and I think the running crawler up front. Also dropping oil on the right side. Puts his missile right on one of the things. Hit that with confirmation. Okay. Yes, I'll explain between rounds Twilight Assassin because I can do it with visuals at that point. So, Fanswords is trying to turn this into a Stormcaller war, which not the war that Zemp wants. Zemp wants a Marksman versus Arclight war, and the AMD's able to win round 8 for Fanswords. He is steadily whittling Zemp down. 580 hit points left. The Melter, I think, is the best single round sell. So I believe Zemp has taken it and sold it immediately. Yeah, no Melter on board. For either player, they both sold out of it. For Zemp, the items on are the Marksman, Elite Marksman. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that is a Marksman heavy board. 10 Marksman. It still has all 3 deploys, and it could conceivably sell the sledge as well. Let's take the range first, sure. So let's just take a look at these marksmen. Level 3 marksmen with Elite Marksman, and the range and the advanced targeting system. They're up to 220 meter ranges. These storms on the other side are 245. So they do outrange them, and with Splash, I think do a lot of damage. Trying to catch, this is a 6 Stormcaller arc out there. For Zemp, we've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 storms. Adds, wow, went for all of his devices this round. 3 shields, 5 anti-missile devices to try and even things out. On the other side, Fansword also used all of his devices, 4 shields, 4 more anti-missile devices. We're just going to play this from long range and see what we got. He tries to hit those outside Stormcallers that might have been out from under a bubble, but did not. Note that Zemp added some Arclights to this build to try and ensure that he's winning the Cat Fear War without relying on the storms quite as much. And I think what we're seeing here is those shielded, I think those are shielded fangs now for Fanwords. He's trying to finish. Took the shields. It comes down to just the Marksman and Storms. Both sides still have all their anti-missile devices. All the AMDs are going to live except for a couple on... all of Zemp's AMDs live. Fanwords is out down to a single device. So that is going to be expensive to replace. Oil and smoke coming down for Zemp. He's thrown down 7 more devices. He didn't have any surviving shields, right? So 5 of those devices are shields. 2 of them are AMDs. Here's the War Factory level 2. Okay, why are we going level 2 War Factory? What am I missing? Okay, it's an armored level 2 War Factory. So it's got 500,000 hit points. I'm just going to throw down armor. Okay, right. These guys have EMP on them. They'll have EMP next round. But I guess if you win, it does not matter. So he's really trying to hit everything on this side. He drops the missile strike on top of the fangs on that side. He drops the electromagnetic impact on the shields on that side. Clips this shield, so he's getting the maximum possible value outside of the shield and still doing 3,000 damage to the shield. And allowing everything to charge at them. Even jump drove the wasps to make sure that they were not targetable immediately and get them right up front where they can do the most damage. Big tanky War Factory coming through, boys. Is it going to be the finish that FanWords hopes it is? It's not an anti-missile War Factory. It is just a huge hit point buffer. What he's counting on is just winning the whole rest of the field while a bunch of units are focused on the War Factory. Kind of looks like that's happening, but Zemp has 2 packs of wasps that were mobile beaconed around attack. There's no anti-air left, so Zemp will not lose on this round. Should have enough time to clean up, at least preventing a full amount of damage. And he's going to get through all the devices but one again. FanWords is suddenly in trouble. FanWords is suddenly out. 2 great players at 2150 MMR. Zemp getting the win. It takes a while to come online with all those marksmen, but even 500,000 hit points on the board was not enough to stop the marksman. 100,000, 80,000, 100, or well, no, you are a wasp. 110,000 and 128,000 on the last round alone. Those 4 marksmen getting the job done over there with some help from their friends, various units around them. But it was close. It was close. FanWords coming super close on that one. Zemp gets the W. He'll be through to round 4. Did we manage to pick the longest match again? Just about. Look at that. We certainly picked the longest of the unbeatens. Okay, who the hell just beat Miasim? Who the hell? I mean, literally, the player named Who the hell just beat Miasim. Cast with the win, Genghis Wolves as well. Starbright, you missed me. You missed the joke by just moments. I have to reset. I have to reset. Welcome in, Raiders. Hello, Starbright. I just have one question for you, Starbright. Who the hell just beat Miasim? No, I mean, literally, who the hell, the player, just beat Miasim? Cast over gets the win. Hey, come on. I don't get to do who's on first very often when I'm in a solo... Oh, never mind. Solo broadcast booth. Okay, Genghis Wolves beat Fedez. We had a win from... Oops. Translate, please. I don't want to search for it. The Cave of the Garan beats Sugar Shane and Harry. Shadoff over Moonless. We saw Zemp over Fans Words. Odyssey beat Alpha. Belief beats Bellicose Drake. Sparty the win over Hanayama-sana. Arctorius over Little Yoshi, and Piko Kishi is through to round 4 with a win over Ganj Wizard. So we'll have 11 matches left, 11 unbeatens left. This is, I mean, we've seen a couple of good players knocked out. There's I would say this tournament is up for grabs. any of the remaining players. And what was your Ted? What was your prediction? What was your prediction? Odyssey versus, was it Odyssey versus Belief? Is that what you said? I think it was what you said. Odyssey versus Belief as a final. It's still on so far. That Variolo guy says there's a StarCraft 2 player named Trivia for MMR. Would ask a random trivia question you need to answer in 30 seconds. If you got it right, they surrender. If you get it wrong, they say good luck, have fun, and the game goes on. That's pretty awesome. It's pretty fun. All right. Thank you very much for the raid, Starbright. I hope you had a wonderful stream. We are heading into round 4 of this tournament. I am tired and full of my Thanksgiving dinner, so have had a good one. I think we can get through the next round without running a commercial break right now, so we're not going to run ads on the Raiders. I think we just get through this. I think we make it through the next one. What are our matches going to be? Pico Kishi will be up against Sugar Shane and Harry. Zemp will be facing, what was that, Gundam? Not Gundam. Genghis Wolves will be facing Odyssey, Shadoff versus Belief, Cast versus Who to Hell, and Arctorius versus Sparty. There we go. Well, I think we might take Who to Hell against Cast. That is the spot to go. Find out who just beat Miasim after all. Cast, of course, one of the greats, but had a surprise knockout in round 2 of the Weekend Tournament European earlier. Lost to Bradbury. And Bradbury has pulled off a couple of upsets before, but that was sweet. Ted says, my dude just linked his sledges whilst I'm in Steel Ball. 301 server's a weird one. Speaking of, the 301 server has that tournament coming up tonight. If you are American, tomorrow if you're European. 11 a.m. CET, which is 5 a.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. Pacific. I did want to answer Assassin's question earlier. What are minor points? So each win you get is a point. The minor points are the sum total of the points of your opponents. So if we looked at Zemp has faced Mark, Hobnoblin, and this Fans Words. And if we looked at all of those players, we would find that they had a total of 5 points between them. And that is true even if you are down at the bottom of the heap. So let's say you are 0-3 and eliminated. You've still got 4 minor points. You were guaranteed at least 3 because each of your opponents has 1 point from beating you, right? So takes a minute. All right, let's get into this one. We have Cast against Who to Hell. We've come to the startling realization that Metaphor Refantasio's story is very heavy-handed. Welcome to round 4 of Weekend Tournament America's number 82, Cast Nearside Blue. On the far side, we are going to learn Who to Hell beat Miasim as we watch Who to Hell in action. So hopefully we'll find out what's going on there. Who to Hell taking Cost Control Specialist with Arc Lights and Sledges, where sledges now require 25% extra to level, and that'll be tougher with a Cost Control Specialist because of the lack of DPS for them. That very YOLO guy, you're correct. Each game your opponent won is a minor point. So if you're 0-1, you have 1 minor point because your opponent is 1-0, and therefore they had 1 point, right? So as soon as you lost one, your opponent just gained a point from beating you, right? It's not matches they play. It's only the opponent. Yeah, opponent has to beat you. So if you're 1-0, you have no minor points because the guy lost to you. Now in round 2, if you go on to win your match, you're now 2-0. You have at least one minor point from the opponent in round 2, who was also 1-0, right? You might get a second minor point depending on what happens to your first round opponent. If he'd abandoned the tournament, he's never giving you another minor point at all. If he's lost that match, well, okay, he's 0-2, but he might still recover and go earn you some minor points later. If he won that match, he's given you a minor point already, and he's 1-1. So you'd have 2 minor points at that point. All right, in the match in front of us, Cast is a giant specialist coming off of the 8th place finish in this tournament's Elite November last week. He's the Elite Giant Specialist with Tarantula and Crawler opening, added a pair of Marksmen to have some single target, since he was looking at a Cost Control Specialist with Sledges and Arc Lights, so he knew he needed some single target. He's got the chaff clear covered with Tarantulas, and Marksman. Well, we already knew Tarantula tends to beat Sledge in a head-to-head matchup. Here it goes hard because there were the Sledges were already weakened by being cost control. If you'd like really weak Sledges, you could have them mass-produced, who to hell. There's also a deployment module, electromagnetic impact, and assault fang. Who to hell does not want any of those skips, so he'll have 550 to spend. Cast always takes a long time thinking about it. He'll be hiding panel, looking around the board, thinking about it, coming back, and then thinking about, like, oh, well, where would I play blank? Cast takes the mass-produced sledge, so your sledges are going to be minus 11%. My sledges are going to be minus 30%. But mine are going to be a lot cheaper, and I have just ticked Assault Mode Marksman on the Marksman. Cast has been loving this pull with sledges in corners. And what that's going to do, that's going to pull everything back in this corner off that direction. One way he is making that work, it won't pull these two, right? But he's been pulling stuff from deep back here by not putting any of his chaff up front. He's got this huge open space where there's no chaff. Yeah, we have cheap sledge versus cheap sledge, right? This is going to be a fun one. We've got 4 arc lights and 2 marksmen on Who to Hell's side. And again, everything's getting pulled. There's no chaff protecting these guys. Who to Hell now not picking up any additional chaff. Now, we've seen some interesting chaffless builds working recently. But theory for Cast right now is the cost control marksman, or sorry, the assault mode marksman get out in front, tank those sledges for a while. The cost control sledges can't do much to get through them, and Tarantulas gets to towers with enough hit points left to survive. Even the level 2 marksman drops Who to Hell to 4368, casts at 4300. Cheap sledge versus cheaper sledge. It's going to be a fun one. Cast, what do we have here? Quick cooldown, additional deployment when you've already got the... additional deployment because you already have mass-produced sledges. Come on, let's just see 4 sledges around. I guess you can't do that because things fly. And you'd be feeding the smart arc lights. Ooh, that would be rough. Who to Hell takes the additional deployment instead of the smart arcs. I think Cast is going to be really relieved to see that. Reason being the arc lights do feast off of these and gain full hit point value, even though they are mass-produced. Cast, what the heck? It's a sandworm. Okay, we are Giant Specialist. We took We sold out of our tarantula. We have bought a sandworm. Sandworm will be leading and screening for the assault mode marksman. And we are preventing you from missiling out the sledges by putting down some crawlers. No, you actually can missile out a bunch of these sledges with the perfectly placed missile. Comes in here, because these guys aren't going to be moving. These guys will be. The missile will have travel time to get there. So the sledges would be up to about here. And if you did that from deep, instead of relying on them front, it would hit nowish, and hits a bunch of them. It wouldn't have hit these three. Would have hit those two, though. At any rate, irrelevant. Here comes the worm. This is a cast special, late pull and worm. Yup. Worm goes to tower quickly. Nothing in front of it. Goodness, yeah, I mean, this pull is just devastating right now. I fully see another one in your future, sir. Question is, does who the hell know the answer to the worms? You should be able to afford an answer to the worms going into round 4 as cost control specialist. We've got a saber. Well, I mean, that will technically do it. I expect that saber to be in front of tower. Yeah, sure enough. It's straight opposite the worm. Cast add one of these two to just keep up with the worm and kind of clear for it. Or does he just take the saber and have the head-to-head win? So what our guy was going for was the EMP marks to turn the attack off. What he's gotten to instead is going to be is that a quad recruit of... Well, that's interesting, because that first volley dies to the sledges. So it's a quad recruit of... So he's got Impact Drill, he's got Mech Rage, he's got Replicate. In a... so does opponent. So, Crawler v. Crawler into the mass-produced sledges. I think the mass-produced sledges kind of win that for you, right? Not necessarily. I guess they are going to get replicated off of. And, yeah, this beastie, a big Sabertooth, has taken down a bunch of units, but the left side Sandworm gets through. The right side, we have the level 2 Mustangs doing their best to whittle it down during the tower debuff. So that thing is almost out of hit points. And these Mustangs have the worm in front, but every time the worm goes down, Mustangs get chewed up even more, because there is nothing left. Now that worm just earned a level for eating a high-level unit. That's very good for cast, because of course the replicate worms, the larvae, come in at the level of the parent worm. It's round 5, super supply enhancement, pretty darn risky. I think cast is of the opinion that you can sometimes afford to take it when you're just on the maximum hit points. You can just say, like, I've kind of got this. I'm not as scared of it as I might be. Whereas this player really can't afford to take it. If he took it and cast does not, it can be really devastating. And I wrecked a player on ladder earlier today with super supply came up, he took it, I loaned on the same round to try and finish. So cast takes the heavy armor. Who the hell took the sticky oil? The sticky oil will slow down the trailing marksman and or the assault mode marksman and trailing Mustangs, while letting this sandworm get further out in front. Who the hell adds a pair of adds double shot to the sabers, adds a pair of sabers on the left side. The heavy armor going on the level 2 sandworm on the left. New sandworm joins that side. Still has a deploy, which could turn into another sledge over there. Now, interesting breakpoint, right? 476 shot from a sledge, 557 hit points for the crawler. So, crawlers survive and get... Yeah, that's why this went poorly, I think, last round. As level 2 zoo crawlers survived the sledges. The sledges are giving full value hit points, and those flanks are turning into more and more crawlers. Double shots. Sabers have done some good work, but not good enough. This one took care of its solitary worm. This one has gotten stuck on the late Mustangs, while this whole group is going for tower. Baby larva got the tower without the parent worms. Oh my goodness. Aye, Toxin, Bailey Champ Pork. We are seeing Cast versus Who Da Hell. Who Da Hell coming off of a win against Miasim. Has some double shot sabers. This time it's enough with EMP coming off the marksman, double shot off the sabers, deletes the level 2 heavy armor worm. Both players have an additional deployment slot already. There is a tank production line for Cast. Those would be mass-produced tanks that it's producing, so it's a little less valuable. Mobilized battleship. There's no AA back here for Who Da Hell. There's no AA back here. There's the Mustangs, I guess. So, but you'd wind up chasing after the crawlers. Interesting. Who Da Hell goes for another... Oh, goodness. Guys. This is going to get sick. We have additional deployments. Would you like to deploy 4 or more units around? Go right ahead. Whatever you feel like doing. Level on this sledge would change the breakpoint here, but I think ultimately just feeds more XP. So not the play you wanted to make. Cast goes for 2 worms far outside. If only you'd gotten those during your most honorable match. Exactly. 5 tanks around. Go, go, go. 5 mass-produced tanks around. No, this is not where he's going. He's gone for a... Oh, goodness. We did level them. Look at that. Took the level. Has the leveled sledge protected behind a level 1 set of sledges. And no techs on crawlers yet. Still letting the replicate. But now it's going a little bit better. Out in front of all the worms, we have Ignite Fangs with range for Who Da Hell. 5 crawler loose formation turn is going to be wild. It's not here yet, but it will be pretty wild. I kind of agree with that. On this, this thing has been barely holding on. A level 5 saber would be dead by now, but no, this one's a level 6 saber, and it is still doing the job. It can dish out 35,000 hit points per attack. Times 2, so that's 70,000 hit points. Yeah, that just double shot the level 2 heavy armor sandworm. But eventually, enough larvae will get the job done. Cast gets around 6. Who Da Hell down to 2,600. Cast on 3,600. Who Da Hell has 2 level 3 Phantom Rays. Now, would you like to drop a 7 Phantom Ray flank? Because, you know, you can do that, honestly. You don't even have to, yeah, I mean, doesn't look like it cast. Would you like to drop that many? No. I was hoping for the just
fills the sky on the left or right side. Of course, going into the giant specialist, he would probably just throw down AA forts and handle it. Who to hell with additional deployment slots would have his own ways of handling it, but still. Who to hell adds some more fangs, gives them shield. Added phantom rays over the flanks. So Cast is still really relying on these poles. Get a lot of work done. Missile to take care of the level 1 sledges so the crawlers can run off this direction. But again, they're now losing that shot here where the mass-produced sledges at equal level get a kill. The only problem there was the level 1 sledges trying to kill level 2 crawlers. But with the missile, it's just going to hasten these guys in on the level 2 tanks, I guess. But maybe the Phantom Rays will get there faster as well. What that's going to look like. Now the Phantom Rays will go take care of the sledges. But here it is Worm Ray. And remember, this guy barely lived last round. He's not going to live this round with the Phantom Rays on top, dealing out the damage. Down he goes. There are still worms alive on that side. Cast pull gets him all the way to tower on the left side. That is devastating. So these worms won't die either. Now there's larvae everywhere. And is that enough worms to GG it? From 2,600, who to hell down to 424. In trouble. You might have beaten Miasim, sir, but beating Miasim and Cast back-to-back was always going to be a tough, tough ask. Takes advanced offensive tactics. Cast takes efficient giant manufacturing to go with the additional deployment slot. You could still buy 2 more. We're just going with strike and replicate, and just as many worms as you'd like. I will outworm you. So we transitioned from Tarantula to Assault Mode Marksman to Mass-Produced Sledge to the Worm finish, using the Mass-Produced Sledges as flank bait. And they are pulling a ton of units, right? This match is unfair in terms of Cast's units are fighting up here, while Who to Hell's units are fighting out here, and only this set is fighting the front. Who to Hell has not answered that. There are pullable possibilities out here. You know, Shielded Fangs could eat a missile, draw a bunch of units, and then a Shielded Fang further out into the corner. You know, you just really draw them as deep in as you possibly can. You've got range. There would be a lot stuck back there, and that would change this whole engagement with the worms. But Who to Hell hasn't done it. I think that might have been viable a couple of rounds ago. I'm not sure it's viable anymore with this many worms. It's before they disappear. Quick, count them all. 10 worms. And some friends. Making babies. Oh dear. I thought we were family friendly guys. Hey, Angel's Heart says, damn, I did my best. Angel's Heart, are you Who to Hell? Welcome in, first time chatter. You are. Well, congratulations on beating Miasim. If you don't know, Miasim is one of the game devs. So you beat one of the devs themselves in that previous match. Well done. Congratulations. This one, Cast has been punishing people with that sledge flank for a couple of weeks now. Doesn't have the... It really punishes certain positionings, and even a really solid set of positionings can run into trouble with it if he's able to hit those towers fast. But he's really, you know, what he's got going there is, you know, he's got 400 in this corner, and it is pulling, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4.5, 6, 7, and then this is another 400. So it's pulling 1,100 with over here 500 value of units. And it's just changing the front fight, right? Like to a point where it's not fair. I think the Fang answer was pretty strong in terms of throw down Ignite and start chewing through these guys without dealing with honest damage, this Saber was definitely your hero. It was a great choice of pickup. So very, very well done on that. You gave him a good fight. Cast is one of the best. Has been around a long, long time. I think he was the top seed going into the Launch Clash tournament. He had the highest peak MMR during the Vanguard season. So no shame at all in that loss. That's an epic. And you held him for 8 rounds. You made him work for it for sure. Hikokishi continues their run with a win over Sugar Shane and Harry, who was in the spoiler role. Arctorius beats Sparty. Arctorius is a very solid player. Belief over Shadoff. Zemp beats this fellow. And let's find out if Odyssey can keep the prediction alive, Ted. Honestly, Fang Ignite was a pretty good play with the extra deploys. He has those Mustangs coming in behind you. Behind that were cleaning up the Fangs, I think. By the way, I don't know the breakpoints on a cost control specialist for sure. I haven't tested this, but one of the most efficient answers to that big cluster of worms is rapid fire forts, and that would have gone really, really well with the Fangs behind. So your marksman would have EMP'd, the Fangs would have done the ignite damage, and the big forts would be doing big time damage and leveling off of them. It does still work? Okay, I haven't tested it. Thanks for confirming, Ted. Appreciate it. Odyssey has been really, really solid. Mini tournament champion this week. Facing Genghis Wolves. What you've got, this is a monster. We've got a 455,000 hit point War Factory, facing a 70,000 hit point Melter, and a 50,000 hit point Wraith. Genghis Wolves barely getting it done with one hero Melter. Good around 10. That was all after the nuke. So, what do we have? Odyssey has War Factory over here. That was redeployed. And a mobile beaconing to the other side. We've got the electromagnetic impact dropping on top of the forts. Those are level 4 and level 3 forts in front of level 2 and level 3 and a level 3 melter with a Amp-Core. That's pretty epic. These things are building Phoenix and Steel Ball with range. I saw Odyssey run this before. This is a really solid build for him. He's building level 2 units. He's got techs on both Steel Ball and Phoenix, and you kind of want to see this this defense against it, because your War Factories should win, and especially if you can get some EMP on those Phoenix, they'll turn off whatever the techs are that are being used to beat you. And as you can see, the War Factories are gonna get it done here. That'll be, what is that, 1,200 damage? Drops Genghis Wolves down to... done. Odyssey is through. Dog versus Wolf. You know which side I had to be on, but well played, Odyssey. Mini tournament champion earlier this week. Really making a production War Factory build work. Note that he is in a hybrid, so he can go efficient maintenance if he needs to. He can go Battle Factory with Launcher Overload and Range. He can go a production version with Steel Ball and Phoenix, ignoring the sledges, and can go to a Missile Interceptor. So he's got a very utilitarian, I can go multiple different directions depending on when War Factory is appropriate on my build, and I can pick the units that I need. Here, he's got range, so they had 165 meters. The forts are stuck at 135 meters. The melters were energy absorb and range, but they are just letting the steel balls come into range, they get kind of stuck on the steel balls. They're not really getting the full locks on War Factory, and the steel ball production out produces one melter's killing speed. Ted, that argument is as old as the War Factory itself. But it is bait in certain scenarios. It is the correct choice elsewhere. We are down to 6 matches left. Cast against Arctorius, Hikokishi against Belief, Zemp against Odyssey. You know what? I am going to go for Zemp and Odyssey. We will take our mini tournament champion against the famous Russian champion. Zemp, of course, won the Dev Pro tournament. So, kind of one of the legends established in the community. There you go. Your channel point predictions are up. Doxson says, "How is the weather where you are? I'm buried in snow, snow, snow." Well, I am not buried in snow. I am in California. Ms. Diana says, "Somewhat similar to a top free-for-all build. Start with Fall Crawl, tech them while waiting for a Phoenix card, get War Factories in the last few rounds." Very nice. Exactly. And your leveled War Factories create leveled steel balls, which downgrade, they degenerate down to level 1 crawlers, but their level 1 crawlers still have whatever techs you've placed on the crawlers. The balls still have whatever techs you've given the balls. So it's definitely useful. Very, very useful. Solid build. Right, if I got that right, welcome back to those of you who saw an ad. Appreciate you guys supporting. We are into round 5, our quarterfinals. Welcome to the quarterfinals of Weekend Tournament Americas number 82. Zemp versus Odyssey. Zemp, we talked about the Dev Pro Tournament champion. We saw him run his marksman build in round 3. Odyssey, the mini tournament champion this week, mini tournament Americas champion. And I did get to cast that tournament with Clint Leetwood earlier this week. Odyssey was running the same War Factory build that we saw him run in round 4 when we joined his match in progress. So it's a hybrid production War Factory build, but it's very flexible. He can build those War Factories whenever and wherever he wants to kind of suit the board state and have them fill different roles, right? It's a very flexible one. Zemp took the Cost Control Specialist with a Fang and Sledge start, adds a pair of crawlers to it. Odyssey started with Sabertooth Specialist, Marksman and Sledge, and took the crawlers. I suspect part of Zemp's thinking in taking the crawlers may have been to ensure that there's no chaff drop to allow Odyssey out of the no chaff start with a round 2 unit drop. Veems says, "I've played in 3 tourneys and I've never won a single match. How does that make you feel?" Well, I'm gonna tell you, I had a 0-4 tournament once, which since they eliminate you after 3 losses, losing 4 in a single tournament is an achievement I don't think you're gonna match. So I feel ya. I think I ran an 0-9 tournament stretch that round. I lost 7 I'd lost 1 to end a weekend tournament, lost 3 in one mini tournament, lost 4 in the other one, because the mini tournaments don't actually eliminate. Usually people just drop when they're 0-2, right? But if you happen to be 0-4 or 0-3, and there is somebody else who stuck around, or there's an odd number of players, they will let you play the fourth game, and if you are good enough, is that the right word? I'm not sure. You can manage to lose that one and go 0-4 as well. So I lost 8 in a row with that, and then lost the first match of the next weekend tournament. I had a 9-game losing streak in tournaments. So Veems, let me just say, I am on the match in front of us. Odyssey adds a pair of storms. Zemp adds a pair of storms. I feel like we have seen this build from Zemp before, but he will be going to his marksman eventually. Just not yet. For right now, Odyssey getting the early tempo, much the way that the cloud blows away the wind, or the wind blows away the clouds did against Zemp. Or was it Fanswords? It was Fanswords that played Zemp earlier. But again, the tempo, Zemp's build is designed to come good late. He's willing to concede some of these early rounds. And Sparrow, thank you for the follow. My Tale of Woe has earned me a follower. Thank you, sir. You, among a couple of others today, have put us up over 1,250. Really appreciate the milestone. Thank you guys so much for all the follows. On our match, let's see, we have taken a unit drop. So Odyssey got the level 2 Farseer. Zemp got the level 2 Farseer. Zemp puts his right down in the corner. That is interesting. I would worry about that being vulnerable. I'd rather have it a little bit off the line in case Odyssey goes into a flank. On the other hand, maybe he's thinking of it as working around the outside, and also potentially being really good at minimizing this kind of pull. So he'll, in theory, be working left to right. Odyssey's is kind of similarly positioned. It's not right up on the wall, or right up on the flank. It's more like a, wherever you put it down there, I will immediately lock and fire. Wherever you put a flank. Zemp adds a third Stormcaller. Odyssey, what have we added over here? A pair of Arclights, I believe, to work on the chaff clear. So it's Arclight marks Storms and Farseers versus Sledge Storm and Farseer at the moment. Chaff boards being the difference. The chaff boards and Saber-tooth, I guess. They both have the sledges, I suppose. You'd say the board state still favors Odyssey. I remember in that we've seen Odyssey loves to run the War Factory build, and has anti-missile on the bar there. But we've seen Zemp's crazy marksman shooting line, which again is kind of a 4-player free-for-all build, right? The long shooting line of marksmen. But we've seen it handle a War Factory earlier this tournament. Odyssey wins the 3rd round in a row, drops Zemp under 3,000 hit points. Odyssey's still on 4,000. Shoot dog safe, untouched. You can't hurt that face. Zemp with the Wasp Swarm. Odyssey, you could take extended range War Factory. Ooh, no, does not want it. No, I'm not going to play that game. Zemp takes a pair of Scorpions. So, Scorpions up the middle to handle the Saber-tooth. I suspect this is somewhat a knowing the player. I've played Odyssey before. I know I've watched tournament from the, I've watched tournament action of Odyssey. I've gone back and looked at him. You win a mini tournament. Some of the top players are going to go look at what you're doing. So I know he runs a War Factory build. Scorpion is the answer to a production War Factory. It's very, very good. So we're, you know, we're going to handle that already. We're going to have an answer that kind of prevents him from going into it, while also handling the board that he's already got, which is the sabers and the sledges. Takes them on the round that the sledges leveled up. When you guys read the words heavy anti-swarm robot, we talked about this in the European tournament with Clint Leetwood, but that is a slight, there's a translation connotation there that the word we are translating out from could be used for like a swarm of piranhas, right? It's not just used for things like a swarm of bees, a swarm of locusts, something deadly. And the English connotation, especially amongst gamers, for swarm has a throwback to, I think it was 3rd edition D&D, maybe 2nd edition D&D, introduced the swarm mechanics that really made those swarm, that became a keyword that meant tiny, tiny, tiny units, many, many of them, almost uncountably many. So we're not even thinking about giving them hit points. They're all, you can sit there and kill an individual rat or an individual cockroach or whatever it is, individual snake maybe, without really impacting the health of the overall swarm. So. Odyssey wins in round 4, Zemp down to 26-20. But the point is, the Scorpion value in the swarms that it's talking about is actually the swarm of units that a production war factory produces. That clump of sledges and steel balls coming off of it. And that's why the Scorpion also includes the acid attack, also includes the ability to get itself really huge ranges, double shot so that it can apply this acid and do the damage. And of course, Zemp likes to play things as range. He's taking advantage of the fact that the Scorpion now has an extra 20 meters of range in siege mode. So the Scorpion enters siege mode now increases range by a whopping 100 meters. So it's gone from 100-meter range to 200 meters. Holy smokes! Attack interval is lower. The attack is 40% weaker. It can't attack enemies in 75 meters, but hey, no, it's outranging everything on the board. And I'm going to light all the chaff on fire and just have the Scorpions dunk on you from downtown. So as we saw in his round 3 match, Zemp is willing to slowly hemorrhage and mitigate damage as the early rounds go by. That's probably what this is about a little bit. I'm going to make sure that you don't drop the Ignite on top of my storms. Make sure those are alive to do the damage. Pretty much everything else can stand on its own and survive. But wanted to make sure he didn't lose key units. The Scorpion's having a harder time clearing that big saber in the middle. Other than that, they're doing fine. There go down our set of sledges. And of course, without the later arriving chaff, the Scorpions have been targeting nothing but value units all round long. Down go all the shields for both players, but Zemp has stabilized, and suddenly he's got 1,000 hit points worth of Scorpions and 400 hit points worth of Stormcallers. Odyssey goes from 4,000 hit points to 2,500 in seconds. Snootrower, welcome in, first time chatter, says siege mode equals auto lose. It didn't work like that this round. This round it went the other way around, where Zemp goes siege mode and gets a W. He is one of the greats. We'll see if it's the long term the right choice. He's added a Farseer in the bottom right corner, so covering his flank. And we've talked a bit about comps needing to handle 4 main units. So you need to handle a ground-based giant, or saber, or whatever. You need to handle a
ground-based chaff, you need to handle air-based giant, and you need to handle air-based chaff. So wasp in this case. But the Farseers here are covering the flank, flank wasp, flank overlord, flank phoenix. The fangs are covering that as well. We've got regular chaff, and we've now got 4 scorpions, one on each side of each tower. So there's no place for Odyssey to run those war factories that we've talked about him liking to run, that we've seen him liking to run, that he won a mini tournament with. So Zemp has really shut that down, has not brought out his marksmen at all the way through 6 rounds. Can't get a drop of them because Odyssey already has them on the board. I would say one thing to do against Zemp is to make sure you have at least one marksman on the board because you get a big 4-unit drop of marksmen deep into the game. You can see what a difference it makes to have the chaff on the board. We lost the chaff to fire last round, but those scorpions have done essentially nothing but target chaff right up until this very end of the round, where they're finally getting their jobs done, finally targeting the things they're supposed to target. But the real problem, I think, was actually the that drop in the middle, the electromagnetic burst drop in the middle that turned off the siege mode there. Yeah, Sparty, we're in a range war for sure here. As Zemp at 1,800 hit points, Odyssey at 2,500. We've got 200-meter siege mode, and lost when we turned that off. Sandworms for Odyssey. 2 level 3 rhinos for Zemp. Now, if you don't know, a level 2 rhino beats a level 1 sandworm. And costs 300, the sandworm costs 400. So that is one way to get this job done. Of course, a level 3 rhino by itself is not necessarily going to beat 2 level 1 sandworms. But if you can keep them trapped on the surface while the scorpions work on them, that's going to be pretty solid. Zemp adds range for his Farseers. So we've got yet more ranged units. I think he may have also ranged the Arclights this round, for the ranged chaff clear. Odyssey has gone for the Void Insanity style 4 sandworms together with Replicate right off the bat. Void really pioneered that, was using it to great effect against a bunch of players fairly high up the ladder, and that percolated its way all the way up to the top end, where you see it happening here. Of course, the recent patch downgraded this this drop so that it's not the round 7 drop was not higher level sandworms that could be really board warping, but 2 level 1 sandworms, which a little bit kinder, I think, a little bit easier for players to play around. Did you sell? He sold out of one of the rhinos. He sold out of the rhino that was on the. He's a little unlucky, I think. Sold out of the rhino that was on the many worm side, but maybe that's a good thing. If the big rhino is able to stay alive on the left, and just keep enough units alive for him. Yeah, that's not going to matter. Those worms are coming. And they're here at the top. And now they get to the scorpions. Scorpions. Now, earlier, Snootrower said siege mode equals auto lose. Here, I wouldn't say they're an auto lose, but Odyssey punished a specific element of siege mode. Siege mode, as a tech, increases the attack interval by 1.5 seconds. The scorpions have gone from a 4.5 second shot to a 6-second shot, and in those 6 seconds, the sandworm has surfaced, killed a unit, and gone back underground. So the scorpions are basically never getting to touch it. By the time the worms are showing up in their face, again, they're within that 75-meter
cold zone, so you can't even stop it. So this was the perfect choice into siege mode Scorpions. How would you counter these worms? Well, a couple of thoughts. Yeah, this was the Scorpions getting dead zoned, exactly. War Factory would have done it. War Factory with launcher overload, enough chaff to slow them down and pin them on the surface. So, in my opinion, part of the answer is a really deep chaff board of crawlers, with crawlers coming from every direction, so that they're killing one or two, but basically sitting up on, forcing the worms to sit on the surface in one place. You can also drop acid, so acidic explosion on the crawler gets in, and then the worms are fighting from the acid, taking damage from the acid, and then also taking additional damage from whatever unit is targeting them. Of course, Scorpion can drop acid as well. Twilight Assassin says, wait a minute, I should be following this guy. I thought I clicked this button before. Yeah, fair enough. But you are now. Thank you for the follow. So, this build, really solid from Odyssey. Zemp, I think, was countering what Odyssey had been doing, and Odyssey reads the answer to the counter really, really nicely out of that drop. I'm not sure selling the Rhino made a difference. You might have been able to pin these guys on the surface a little bit longer, a little bit further out, if we had left the level 3 Rhino on that side. But it's only got 60,000 hit points. These guys do 40,000. This guy does, 7,500. It might not have made a difference. So, Zemp, not going to be your champion here. Arctorius has cast down to 172 hit points. Let's see if he can finish cast off. This would be a huge win. This might be Arctorius' biggest ever win. In fact, if he can pull it off. What have we got? Cast near side was quick supply. We know he's going to lose round 8. Let's just analyze the board state. It is in Hackers and Hackers and Typhoons. Now, Rat ran a video on this recently, and the theory is really, really solid, with the Typhoons answering Wasp and Chaff, the Hackers answering ground units, and then you've got the Phoenix answering the Overlord, hopefully. So the theory is very, very sound. Here, it's not quite worked. The Hackers are winning on the right. There's not enough anti-air left, really. There's a Farseer over there, so it's going to be a little closer than it had been. The last Hacker is down. Here come the boats from the far side. There's still some storms on the ground. Now, I'm going to point something out. I'm sure Cast is seeing this. All of Arctorius' damage is anti-missile missile units, other than the Overlord Artillery. Anti-missile might be really, really strong against him. So Cast survives round 8. It's down to 172 hit points. Let's see if anti-missile is the answer, or if Cast is the sleeve. We've got efficient giant manufacturing. Oh, Cast is adding... Well, the worms, I think, already existed. What are the adds? Take some melters. Leaves us with 550. On the far side, it's launcher overloaded was added to the range and Overlord Artillery. There is anti-missile devices, so he Casts bought 7 devices here. 1, 2, 3, at least, and 4 missiles, I guess. 5 missiles and 3 anti-missile devices. So we'll see if that is enough. We're going to change the front by missiling out the lead calf. We'll have the anti-missile answering a bunch of things. The boats are coming. Now, Hacker and Melter both work together very, very well if they're targeted on the ground units. Being
up while melting down, but it looks like it's going to be an overwhelming boat win for Arctorius. Note that he is out of the HE and switched from HE to Overlord Artillery. Also has Photon instead of Wasp production. So congratulations, Arctorius. Nice win. Beats Cast. That puts Arctorius through to the semifinals. So, wait a minute. Ted, what was that pre-tournament prediction? Ted's pre-tournament prediction was Belief versus Odyssey in the final. Came really, really close, but Pico Kishi beats Belief. That's close, though. That's really close. Come on, man. I was gonna say, like, it's really close, because if Belief had won this match, Arctorius would have been the #1 player, and you'd have had Odyssey against Belief, and with Arctorius facing Zemp might have beaten Arctorius to create a Odyssey versus Belief round 6 final. So you came super, super close in terms of how all of that went. We will never know if Zemp would have beaten Arctorius in that fictional match. Zemp does look like the spoiler here for our for Pico Kishi, and will be in Odyssey versus Arctorius for the final, barring a unexpected change of minor points due to the last match going on. I could, if any of these folks played the folks in that last match, could change the orders up there. Pico Kishi versus Zemp. Will the spoiler hedgehog get spoilered? We'll find out, but we'll be watching the other match. It's Ava Stigma against Moonless right now. I ran the ads so that we would run those between run those while we're not on a thing. I need to grab water for my throat, otherwise I'm going to have a sore throat in a moment. There. Really quickly, we are in round 11, and Ava Stigma still has 4,000 hit points. Sir, you're basic. How? You're an elite specialist. You're not supposed to. Well, okay. He's also got efficient giant manufacturing, and looks like he's been building sandworms with armor and replicate. Putting them together with wasps and phantom rays, 2 tech each, so range and anti-air for the wasps, and ranged stealth cloaked phantom rays. Interesting. I don't see people range the stealth rays very often. Moonless, a giant specialist with efficient multi-melt melters. Surely this will win. Surely you can't have that many multi-melt melters to not win. Full glass of water plus a glass of water. All right. Apparently, me telling him that having 4,000 hit points at round 11 caused Ava Stigma to lose that round. So now that you're at 1,700 hit points, you're fine. Carry on. You do you. Those are, in fact, quad tech melters. Goodness. Range, energy absorb, EMP, and energy diffraction. Quad detect levels of melters, I should say. They are also working next to leveled backline of marksmen with double shot, range enhancement, and elite marksman. And up front is, five Vulcans with range and best partner, spamming out steel balls and marksman. This one, by the way, does 5,000 DPS and it's 15 meter
splash at 160-meter range. That's pretty impressive. We took advanced targeting system for Moonless to increase the range of everything. Ava Stigma went for extended range storms, and now has triple tech storms. So going for the extra ranged, light the ground on fire and EMP you wherever you might be. There is no honest anti-missile on the other side, so this could be devastating if we can kind of clump things up and turn them off. And that pull serves to clump things up over here. You see, we're turning things off and leaving these giants just walking at normal speed, slowing things down from 250 meters out, making them walk in at a slow 3 meters a second, but eventually they get into range. And, oh, by the way, the marksmen are not getting turned off. They're just dealing no damage from the back row. And Moonless, eventually, beats Ava Stigma 12 rounds in. Giant spam for the win. It just took some patience from Moonless. Well played. Next round in 1 minute. Welcome back to those of you that saw ads. Appreciate you guys supporting with the with watching those. So we've got our final setup. Zemp will be playing in the spoiler role against Pikokishi. If Zemp wins that match, Zemp finishes second, and the winner of Arcturus versus Odyssey is your champion. If Pikokishi wins that match, there will be a 7th round, and this match between Odyssey and Arcturus becomes your semifinal. As is our tradition, we cast the match that could be your tournament championship and leave the other one for fate to decide. In the European tournament earlier today, Apuchi in the spoiler role clipped the tournament at 6 rounds, so this became the championship match. Zemp, of course, strong enough to do that. Pikokishi we saw early in the tournament. The glowing, divine hedgehog. But our round 6 will be Odyssey against Arcturus, coming right up. Speaking of favored, Ted, congrats to those of you who backed Odyssey against Zemp in round 5. You'll have the chance to do it again in just a moment, because we are going to put that one up. Odyssey versus Arcturus. I believe this is as deep as Arcturus has made it into a tournament. I think this is his first chance to win one. First time he's been in a match that could be a final. Welcome to round 6 of Weekend Tournament Americas number 82. This match could be our tournament final, depending on how Pikokishi fares against Zemp. Zemp in the spoiler role. If Zemp wins that one, then this match is the final. If Pikokishi wins that one, Winner of this match will face Pikukishi in round 7. Near side in blue, Mini Tournament America's Advanced Group 1 champion Odyssey has been a very solid, beat Zemp earlier in the tournament with a Rhino, won with a pivot to Worms when Zemp was playing a Scorpion build. Odyssey previously had been running a very flexible War Factory build, which is what he showed in the Mini Tournament Americas earlier. Arctorius on the far side, a Farseer specialist, starting with Tarantulas and Crawlers aggro offset to Odyssey's left. Odyssey has 3 Arclights across the middle, Stormcallers, and a pair of Fangs behind tower. Interesting. If I'm Odyssey, I would have taken Crawlers behind towers for 2 reasons. One, they get out a little bit further and stop things so that the storms could do a little bit more work. But second, so that I had the chance of having a Fang drop from Bear Lake on round 2. Please give me the 3 level 1 Fangs and get me out of my no chaff start. It is not to be. The formations are set so that Arctorius has this middle unit pull to ensure that nothing went to his right side tower from Odyssey's formation. I'm not sure I like that. I don't mind splitting, doing a little bit of divide and conquer, and you can kind of see why, right? By pulling everything to have the entire fight happen, he has kind of given away a little bit of the strength, I think, of the offset aggro, right? He turned everything into a fight in front of the towers and lost the fight head-to-head because storms do tend to win against tarantulas. I think I like a position that doesn't do that on round 1. Might do that on round 2, potentially. Odyssey has also kind of not given himself the opportunity of having the Fang drop here. Instead, we get Sabers, Phoenix, Steel Ball, and Marksman. Arctorius takes the Phoenix, that fits the aggro build. So would the Steel Ball, perhaps. Odyssey takes the Marksman, which would fit a range war, for sure. Exactly what Zemp would have taken, 100%. Is it what we wanted? Well, it will cover off the Phoenix drop, and Arctorius had no other upshoot. Odyssey actually did have some upshoot with the Fangs, but we're all right there. Takes a Arclight far left and 2 Crawlers also on the left side. Puts both Marksmen on the left side where they will get targets on the Tarantula, and eventually onto the Phoenix, as long as there are Arclights alive to clear for them. Good early lock from this Marksman there. Good early lock from this Marksman there. So Odyssey really positioned those nicely. So they got locks while there's still chaff filtering in. So Arctorius' chaff board leaving a gap, and Odyssey exploiting the timing there to get the locks with the Marksman. And he's going to have a really solid round win. Arctorius is down to 2,086 hit points already. Wow. Odyssey on 5,000 hit points, and I think a lot of that goes back to Arctorius' initial formation. This sort of thing where you're ensuring that there's no pull, nothing running straight at your tower, would have worked if Odyssey had dropped, say Crawlers and was trying to cheese tower a little bit with them, but or would have prevented that cheese. But again, by forcing things into this all-in-one fight, he's kind of committed to it, and he needs to win that fight. He hasn't done it yet. Adds a Farseer. Thought about putting it right up on the line to try and cheese. Doesn't have the range for tower cheese. So he's rethought that, puts it a little bit further back where it'll be pullable to the corner, but also protecting that corner. It can also, if you're relying on it protecting that corner, it could also be pulled forward. So you kind of want to pick one or the other. Am I defending this quadrant or am I attacking? I mean, I'll do Crawlers right around here to kind of let them go either direction, but even that gets punished sometimes. Arctorius does put a ranged tarantula wide, so that's going to start to create. We've talked about that V shape uh, that you get out of this wide pull, and with a 17,000 hit point unit out there, that's going to survive a long time. It's going to make it really difficult to fix that pull, but Odyssey, kind of wise to it, drops the Fang in front. Where he winds up with trouble, though, is he's got an instant lock from this ranged arc light on that tarantula. And I suspect you'll get another... Yeah, he gets a lock here, where this arc light almost gave up to these crawlers by locking onto one of the tarantulas. So, most of the... And these crawlers are getting through the tower as well on the other side. So, ranging the arc lights, while that often feels like the right choice, everybody says, hey, range the arc lights first. In this particular case, we got arc lights that get locked onto tarantulas. They don't see the crawlers coming in, and I think the crawler clear was a lot better for Odyssey before he ranged them. Kind of counterintuitive. Rhino Assault available for Odyssey, and Odyssey is the Rhino Specialist. It's the level 2 Rhino. Arctorius is the one that took the Rhino Assault. As Odyssey, you might be thinking about Acid Blast in terms of dropping it in front of or even across these level 2 units here. So Acid here to here. It would kind of force Arctorius to play around it with some kind of mobile beacon or something. But it's expensive at 250. Tough to say for sure. He does take it. I would love to see it right there. Instead, he's going to put it in front of the main assault. I think this was a better... Yeah, maybe. Hard to say for sure. This one actually... Oh. This one might work better because the arc light, when this arc light was targeted on that tarantula, that'll end a lot quicker. Then you'll get back to chaff clear. Same with this tarantula. And Arctorius has kind of fixed the, hey, my arc light isn't achieving anything because it's shooting a tarantula. Has fixed that by dropping a crawler in front of it. Odyssey adds a Phoenix out there in case you didn't put the crawler down, so now the crawler is necessary. And a Fang in front of it as well. On the other side, what do we have here? We've put down the level 2 Rhino out there, and a... Rhino drop in the back corner is solid for Arctorius. Gets to tower with that. Now it's going to clean up against the marksman, while the Phoenix have handled the defending Phoenix. We still have a level 2 Rhino. It doesn't upshoot. There's not much left on the ground, though. Tower take just in time. I'll get my tower XP, thank you. So Arctorius wins round 4, Odyssey down to 45-40. Close round, not decisive there. Arctorius, both players take the Typhoons. Level 3 Typhoon, very, very strong. Arctorius puts it out here where it could conceivably have gotten pulled into the acid. Doesn't look like it will. For Odyssey, we've got a great set of chaff clear. Also important to note, this is a pretty solid defense against Spider Mine to have the Typhoon and Arclight. They have different ranges. They've got they both do pretty solidly against Spider Mine. And adds another Typhoon, which will be here to cover the level 1 Spider Mine from there. Arctorius using the cast style mobile beacons to try and, we're going to cover the flank if there is anything out on the flank. We're going to try to pull this guy around the acid. Changed his mind, put it back to going straight. And now he's got his real mobile beacon is ensure that I mentioned that Typhoon could get pulled. So what he's going for is I'm just going to ensure that Typhoon and Crawlers are not fighting from within the acid. We're going to go out and around. And then I'll have the Typhoon working from the corner next round without the acid to worry about. A missile would have shut down the Rhino, and it would have been killed by these Phoenix. That's not going to happen because the Rhino has been sold for Odyssey. Hero Rhino, but not enough to win the round. There's a wasted sentry missile. What it was targeting was already dead. On the weak side tower, it is a level 2 tower now for Odyssey, so it's going to take a minute for Phoenix and Tarantula to get in on it. The strong side, the Tarantulas have died in the acid. Both sides have lost their Typhoon to each other, and the right side collapses for Odyssey. The tower debuff does in the left side, and Odyssey is down to 3940. Victoria's still at 2000. Amplifying Core, great card for a Typhoon. For Arctorius, it's going on the level 3 Tarantula that's out on the flank. That bumps that Tarantula up to 77,000 hit points. For Odyssey, these two are giants. They're 50,000 hit points each, which is a bit more than a level 1 giant. And they're going to be doing something like 4,000 DPS or so on whatever the heck they're shooting at. Well, 4,000 per gun. They have 2 guns and two in the unit, so effectively, 15,750 is the output, I think, if they're doing full value. There's no overkill. That's a lot of DPS. Pew pew pew. And oh, by the way, I don't want anything to get in on them, so I'm just going to drop some oil in front and stop that whole bush. Oil gets to be right in front of the Typhoon. That, of course, is the oil from tower. And a couple of missiles to protect the far side tower, ensure that things are not problematic. Arctorius is steadily building the spider cage. It's round 6. He's only got 5 spiders, but does start to make that surround happen. He's also built out his chaff board a decent amount. He's got the later arriving crawlers, just kind of slowing things down a little bit, making sure that the tarantulas aren't targeted. We've both had our specialist. Oh, it hadn't done. We've sold out of them. This round, a heavy win for Arctorius, despite the oil for Odyssey. That drops us to 2,500 versus 2,100. Odyssey, improved War Factory. He's like, oh, this were a different game. Perhaps. Don't think you can afford to go for it here. I think this game ends before you start really getting the value out of it. Arctorius takes the heavy armor. When an opponent is attacking into you like this, melting point range doesn't matter as much. So mass-produced melter is more valuable. More valuable in defense, I mean, than it is in attack. Or in a range war. It's anti-valuable in a range war. He took it? He took it! It's an improved War Factory, folks. 1,000 hit, 1,000 cost. We are selling out not of the Typhoon. The Typhoon's going to remain our main chaff clear in front of it. In fact, twin Typhoons, I should say. That's got him up to 400 cash. We're not taking efficient maintenance. This is the spot where it's a bait. It's too late in the game for it. They cost 1,000. We're not buying a bunch of them. You want to get out other techs, I think. Instead, did we just take a pair of arc lights for more chaff clear? I was thinking we might take launcher overload, but we haven't done that. Now we've got many spider mines coming at us. Shield stays up for now. It'll go down eventually to the Phoenix. This one, level 4, doing a lot of damage. That War Factory has 227,000 hit points. The Phoenix has charged shot available, but naturally is going to be doing 13,000 damage. And Odyssey did range his own Phoenix. So they're going to hang out behind the War Factory. They'll stay alive. The War Factory goes down during tower debuff from the right side. So 2,500, Odyssey drops to 1,556. Is this the end? That level 3 tower went down. And now he's losing economically, minus 200 for the upkeep. Takes the Vulcan's Descent. There is a pretty unprotected back line back there. The only defense out in the back is the crawlers. Arcturus has been using the cast style mobile beacon play, but that does not work against a call-in. Phoenix will rotate during the initial part of the match, 3 seconds before the units have even started, and then this guy comes in a couple of seconds after the round starts. So by then the Phoenix will be moving towards their targets in front of them. You're never going to turn around and see that. He did take charged shot. That's his answer to the War Factory. I'll do extra damage. So this guy has gone from 13,000 to 34,000 damage. That will punch through this War Factory pretty quickly. Arcturus has the Rhino Assault dropping in the middle, where it will get targeted by this Phoenix. Odyssey, I think, is thinking about what's to sell to buy a second War Factory. Does not do that. Instead goes for a shield bubbles on the Typhoons. Also has acid in front. Remember that War Factory ended round right about here, but for now, we're looking at the acid ending this fight a little bit quicker. The key piece for Odyssey is, can I get my Phoenix targeting Arcturus' Phoenix? There are now 6 Phoenix for Arcturus, 2, 3 for Odyssey. Odyssey does have a range advantage there, but we've got to get through the spider mines. We've got to get through the tarantulas, and only then can we work on the Phoenix. Now, the call-in Vulcan gets the level 1 tower. There'll be a 9-second debuff. During the 9-second debuff, you've got Phoenix working on Phoenix. There's 3 left for Odyssey, and he's taking care of the highest level enemy Phoenix. And gets around here with the War Factory alive, along with the call-in Vulcan. Drops Arcturus from 2,000 hit points to 997. We've got a whoosh. We've got a game. We get unit drop. Holy smokes. Arcturus takes the Scorpion. That'll be the shield break to get through the Typhoons, as well as a good answer to the War Factory. For Odyssey, it is a pair of level 3 Fire Badgers to try and continue answering this mini crawler problem. They won't really tank against the Phoenix. They will, however, throw down Napalm. So we know they're not going to tank, so we're decreasing the hit points by 40%. And, whoa, we has a Kiddo. Hello, Kiddo. We have a squeak also.
It's like trip.
Yes.
Oh, Dachshund.
It's a Dachshund. Yes, I was worried his stuff would run over his own acid as well. It did not.
It's like the slinky dog.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep. So without the tower debuff, I think Arctorius is favored here, and the Scorpions the right answer to the War Factory. We talked about why that was earlier in the tournament. The flames on the ground changing the Crawler War for sure. And that's letting the... Well... Oh, that right side tower has gone down way too quickly. Now, War Factory in trouble. Getting hit by all those charged shots. Shielded Phoenix. It's just taking too long to get through them. Second tower is down. There's... I think it's 1,500 on the board. And... Arctorius has beaten Odyssey. Congratulations, Arctorius. Closest he has ever been to a weekend tournament title. The Scorpion dropped exactly what he needed to break the shield bubble. Also really good against the War Factory. Also really good against the leveled tower over here, despite having 131,000 hit points. Ton of value from the Scorpions. Let's find out if that has made Arctorius your champion, or if we have another match. Arctorius is your champion. Zemp beats Pico Kishi. Congratulations to Arctorius, weekend tournament number 82 champion. Who the hell beat Miasim and then lost 3 in a row? We've got 2 matches ongoing, but huge congratulations. I've run into Arctorius a lot on 2v2 ladder. Really gentlemanly player, fun to play against. Gets the job done with wins against AWM, Last Zep, Little Yoshi, Sparty, Cast, and Odyssey. Angel's Heart says, I keep getting Cast and I just spam worms. Or does Cast just spam worms? Is that what you're saying? You faced Cast twice and got spammed with worms. Came a lot closer the second time. What was your defense the second time that got him this close to dead? And Cast's only losses to your tournament champion. Overlords, right? They don't shoot up. Worms notorious for not shooting up. I mean, they do have an anti-air tech, technically. Well, it looks like Drake is in trouble here. Mark and Cheeseburglar further down. Let's step into the Drake match. Cassetris, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it. I am not going to be staying on this evening, so we'll be raiding you guys out to somebody as soon as we have that end tournament stream, or end tournament screen. We'll look for somebody who's going to stay on after tournament and raid you on over. You just turned the stream on. Hello, Sparty. Come hither, gentlemen. All right, we can do that, Sparty. We can do that. Yep, we're seeing a lot of factories. Bellicus Drake, far side, running range, missile interceptor, and efficient maintenance. Near side, it's armor and photon coating. So these ones are just tanks. We want to not die while fighting you at point-blank range and allowing the sabers to get the job done from range with double shot. That's interesting. And he can tech that way because he knows this isn't a production war factory. We get a big set of photon from... This was from photon from Farseers, covering the war factories for both players. There's acid on the ground. I think it's acid crawlers. We talked about that earlier. So that necessitated the Farseer photon to make the War Factory is immune to acid, at least for long enough to get the job done. He died to his own acid. Now he's trapped in this acid as well. But I don't think anything is killing this raid. That raid is going to heal through it, folks. Well, unless the War Factory gets tower, during tower debuff, it's getting whittled down. Now we've reached parity. Wraith wins. And 300 hit points of damage, just enough. Nicely done, Smileys. Beats Bellicose Drake in that one. And that is our tournament complete. Arctorius, first time tournament winner. Congratulations. Wins over AWM, Last Zep, Little Yoshi, Sparty, Cast, and Odyssey in the final. Well done. Zemp runner-up, as we said, if he beat Pikokishi after losing to Odyssey. If he beat Pikokishi in round 6, he would come in second. Pikokishi third. Sparty comes in fourth. Congratulations, Sparty. That is where we're going to raid you in just a moment. Cast runs fifth. Congratulations to our top 5. And everybody else in the top 10. Shadow sixth. Odyssey 7th after a tremendous run. That's a bit unfortunate, bit under where that performance was after beating Alpha, beating Genghis Wolves, beating Zemp on the way to this to lose the final to Arctorius and then get dropped to 7th. That's a little painful. A Moonless, Smiley, rounding out the top 9 at 5-1. Nicely done. Doxson has promised if Arctorius changes his pick to a dog and his name to Barktorius, Doxson will root for him. I mean, fair enough. Congratulations to the rest of our top 40. Well played, guys. Those of you getting your names in lights for the first time, or having done particularly well, perhaps getting your best ever finish. Nicely done. For everybody else, thanks for playing. Congrats again, Arctorius. Well deserved, sir. I bet his smile in real life is even bigger than that one. Sten, thank you so much for the follow, man. Appreciate it. Pretty sure you think Arctorius has won a tourney before? I hadn't seen it, and I have cast a bunch of them. If so, it was a long, long time. That's Tom from MySpace. It's been a long while. Okay, so Sten says it's been a long while, but Arctorius did win one way back in the way before Vanguard season was even a twinkle in Bear Lake's eye. So congratulations again to Arctorius, though. Well done, well deserved. Been around the game forever, and always a gentleman on ladder. So, well, congratulations. I am going to say good night. Thank you guys for watching. As you know, we did our Thanksgiving dinner today, not on Thursday. So I'm going to go have some pie. But thank you to the mods. Really appreciate you guys being here. All the support. We had Zalex and Decaf earlier today. I think we saw Wolf Factory tonight. And but appreciate everybody who's supported over all of the time. You're welcome, Doxson. Indeed. Zach, Blue Farrell, Mr. John Thursday. Thank you guys so much for the support. Ocelotus Gaming, Just Nash XYZ, Xfire X, and of course, Toast94. Really appreciate you guys. Blue, you know I wouldn't be here without you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Missed the earlier tourneys. Well, you do have a VOD for the European. I did do a VOD for the European. But you guys stay tuned. We're going to raid you right on over to Sparty. Late night shift. Get it. Get it done. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. He didn't even turn pre-rolls off. Man.